18, gusting to 35 today. You see the flags blowing. It is gusting here today in Ames. The head coach of the Oklahoma Sooners in his 3rd year, Gary Gibbs, replacing Barry Switzer. Gibbs done an outstanding job, not necessarily from a record standpoint, but from putting this program back on its feet after all the problems they had in Norman. And the head coach of the Cyclones, now in his 5th year, is Jim Walden. He's caught some heat here in the last couple of weeks over this quarterback situation. But Walden, a guy that really is very resilient and a very humorous guy, a guy that's saying that he really likes this 2-quarterback system. He's going with the youngster Bob Utter today. Iowa State won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So kicking off for Iowa State will be Ty Stewart, and the Cyclones will have the wind at their back in the first quarter. Back deep for Oklahoma is Duell Brewer and Otis Taylor. Brewer has it and fumbles it out of bounds at the 10, so the first break goes to Iowa State. Offensively for the Sooners, in his 2nd year, his sophomore campaign, Cale Gundy, the quarterback of the Sooners. Gundy out of Midwest City, Oklahoma, last week was 18 of 31 against Virginia Tech. That is a new record for Oklahoma. The 31 attempts and the 18. Brayberg at 270 pounds now in his senior campaign. Dan Milner will really hit you from the linebacker position in the secondary. Andrew Buggs has already picked off 4 this year. McKinley hit after a gain of only about 3, so it's going to bring up 3rd and 5, and OU trying to run into the wind.
Absolutely, Dave. You made the point about the wind. The only facet of a football game that the wind has no effect on is the running game. It affects the kicking game. It affects the passing game. Oklahoma trying to run the football. First place from scrimmage, they went with their I formation 2-back set. Second down, they went with a 1-back set also. Iowa State up to the task so far defensively, stuffing that running game.
3rd and a short 6. Is this a passing situation for the youngster Gundy? Well, he threw it 31 times against Virginia Tech a week ago. And Gundy is back to throw. Brewer hit right as soon as he caught the ball. Travis Block was there defensively for Iowa State, along with Matt Nitchie from the Cyclones, and it's 3 and out for OU.
Well, OU decided to go with a little screen pass, something safe. Iowa State put decent pressure on the quarterback, then reacted out to shut Brewer down, well short of the first down. That's a big defensive series. In fact, it was a loss. Big defensive series for Iowa State to start the football game.
James McMillian back deep for Iowa State. Brad Riddell is going to be kicking Dave into that stiff breeze. Almost blocked. McMillian lets it bounce, and it takes an OU hop all the way inside ISU territory, and they'll down it as it goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line. That's where ISU will kick off their offense to start things off for the Cyclones. You take a look at Bob Utter, a sophomore, a guy that Iowa State was trying to redshirt this year. But then Chris Peterson, off to that slow start for Iowa State this year. Utter brought back off the redshirt program, now signaling to the crowd saying, come on, get with us. Last week, his first start against Rice. You saw his numbers. Bob Utter, though, was replaced in the 4th quarter by Chris Peterson. And you'll expect to see, and we all will, Chris Peterson a little bit later here today. Caldwell, not much, and you're not going to get much against this big OU defensive line, and a line that includes some guys that are very huge up front, like Stacy Dillard. Offensively up front for Iowa State, a very big front line, including Lance Keller, who weighs 336 pounds, and Scott Armbrust, now in his junior campaign out of Omaha, at 278. They average almost 300, that front line. Sundiata Patterson in his junior campaign out of Detroit, the fullback. They're going to use a lot of 1-back situations, though, for Iowa State here today. And in motion goes Caldwell. A little quick hitter out to Caldwell, and he is hit immediately by Oklahoma. Defensive line for the Sooners includes Stacy Dillard, as I mentioned, the senior, 285 pounds. Also look for Corey Mayfield in the middle. Linebacker Joe Bowden, all everything. This guy, all Big 8 from a year ago, and he really plays well against stiff competition. And in the secondary, the Big 8 Defensive Player of the Week, Darnell Walker, picked off a couple last week, has 3 interceptions this year.
And Iowa State, Dave, finds themselves in a passing situation, 3rd and long, and Oklahoma has already intercepted 13 passes this season. That's got to be the most in the NCAA. 10 different players, everybody in the secondary and the linebackers have gotten involved picking off the football.
3rd and 6. Sherman Williams in motion. A quick hit and a first down. Lamont Hill. Hill, one of those guys that has changed position. Hill was a tailback to start the year and now at the flanker position, and it's a first down for Iowa State.
That was a great call. A nice execution. Good execution up front. Look at the short drop. The quarterback took a 2-step drop. The offensive line had to hold their people right at the line of scrimmage and did so. Found a nice little seam between linebackers and secondary. It's called a pop pass, basically. A nice little pop pass. Lamont Hill received the ball well. Big first down.
Lamont Hill starting where he left off against Rice, where he had 5 catches against the Owls last week. Now, Iowa State inside Oklahoma territory. The draw play at Sherman Williams. Hasn't played since the first week of the season, and he picks up 10 on first down.
Well, this is the little counter play that everybody in professional and college football is running now. Watch the offside. Watch the right guard and right tackle. 73 and 66 in the red. Pull off of their positions. Pull around the horn. Get their blocks. A nice little running lane to take advantage of. And boy, Sherman Williams, just ask him and he responds for a nice run on that one.
That's a nice picture that he painted for Iowa State on that play.
Yes, it is.
You see what he's done this year. He has had an ankle sprain and has not played since that opening game against Illinois, Eastern Illinois. Iowa State winning that game handily. And as you see, a 10-yard gain on first down. And Iowa State starting to run the ball effectively. That's what they've wanted to do here today.
And I think a good call to go with the counter action. Oklahoma's linebackers are so active, Dave. If you start them in one direction and then counter back, give them a misdirection step and counter back, you get them going the wrong way. They're very active and they want to pursue well.
OU defensively, look what they've done against the rush. Now, also in that, think about the pass. Oklahoma's picked off 13 this year, so they're tough on both sides of that. Williams in motion. Hutter looking for him, and look out. He was looking for Sherman Williams, and he did not see the defense coming for Oklahoma. Corey Mayfield coming up to make the big sack.
Oh, this was supposed to be a quick step, a 3-step drop, get rid of the football quickly. Once Utter had to pull the football down, Oklahoma did a good job on coverage. Once again, look, quick set. Once he pulls it down right here, he's done. Good coverage, no place to go with the football. Might have been a wiser decision just to throw it away rather than take the sack, because now you find yourself in 2nd and 17 as opposed to 2nd and 10.
For Mayfield, his first quarterback sack of the year. Williams again in motion. Straight back with time. Hutter now running. And look out. Nowhere to go. Boy, did OU close in a hurry.
That's absolutely, Dave. They've got great team speed. And we talk every week about once you're blocked, a great defensive player does not stay blocked. He works away from that collision, separates from the block, and pursues to the play. Oklahoma, as a group, will pursue inside out, outside in. They fly around the football field. They're a great defensive pursuit team. You
take a look at Reggie Barnes, a junior, and we were talking to Gibbs last night, Dave, and he really likes Reggie Barnes. Even though he's only 6'1", 218, he is everywhere defensively.
He said he's a big-time player making the big plays, and that's what you have to have defensively.
Now 3rd and 17 for Iowa State. On the option, and Utter just ran right into an OU defender. And getting up off the pile is Joe Bowden for the Sooners. Bowden with a couple of interceptions this year, and a big hit there, his 28th tackle of the year.
It's a case Iowa State decided to try to run the option, give Oklahoma a taste of their own medicine, and boy, they took the quarterback away from that situation very well. He was engulfed, completely encapsulated.
John Schnorr off into punt for Iowa State. Otis Taylor back deep for Oklahoma. He is back at his own 15. Schnorr will have the wind at his back. He'll try to poof something down there. And they're going to go ahead and take the 5-yard delay of game penalty to try to give him some more room with which to operate.
Absolutely. Obviously, their situation is try to kick the ball out of bounds inside the 20-yard line rather than kick it down the middle with a lot of height to cover. By taking this penalty, you'd think that they're going to try to angle it out of bounds.
Take a look at Jim Walden. Here's a man that at one time was so popular here at Iowa State, and I guess it's safe to say that the fan mail that he has gotten in the last week has been less than kind. It is not a kinder, gentler Ames, Iowa right now. A high snap. Schnorr goes up to get it and then kicks it deep. This one, we'll see if it finds the end zone. No, Iowa State will dine it inside the 5. Ben Harvey got down there, and Schnorr pins OU back at the 4-yard line. 8:14 to go in the first quarter. No score between OU and Iowa State. Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong, back at Cyclones Stadium. You take a look at the Sooners sideline. Oklahoma not on the board yet, but neither is Iowa State. Oklahoma's defense doing the job on that last stand. Kenyon Rashid gets OU some room with which to operate as he gets it up to the 9-yard line. A 5-yard pickup on first down. Matt Nitchie and Kevin Fulton stop him there.
Well, Iowa State has definitely won the field position battle so far. Oklahoma started their first drive at the 10-yard line on a miscue receiving the opening kickoff. And then the second drive, they start at their own 4-yard line. You can't ask for much better field position. What Iowa State's offense has to do now is respond to the positive field position they've been given and get on the board.
2nd and 5. In motion goes Chris Melson, a former quarterback. Gundy drops back to throw. What a catch, and then a drop. They'll call it incomplete. Corey Warren had it for just a split second.
This is his favorite receiver, Corey Warren. Well, let's take a look at the play action fake. Look, everybody is respecting the run. Gundy comes out of there. That's a naked bootleg. No personal protector. He's all by himself. Puts the football right on the money. Corey Warren had it temporarily, then lost control. Nice catch. He extended, just could not. When he tried to bring it into his body, lost possession.
So now 3rd and 5. There's Gaddis stretching for the first down. It'll be close. Let's see where they mark it. This is going to be very close to an Oklahoma first down at the 14. Mike Gaddis, a guy coming off a serious knee injury, a knee injury that we saw on Prime Network when Oklahoma took on Texas.
Well, this is a good call going into the wind. A pass didn't work. They run a little trap play. They're figuring that Iowa State is going to be blowing up field, rushing the quarterback. Way to counteract that is to run a trap, a draw, or a screen. They chose the trap. Guard made a good trap block, and Gaddis ran for the first down. Solid call.
Just barely a first down for Oklahoma to move the chains, and it's now 1st and 10 for OU. And the fake to Gaddis. Gundy wants to throw, and he was looking for Ted Long, who cut in, and Gundy was looking out. So Gundy starting the day so far, just 1 completion, and that for a -1 yard. But that's what he did last week against Virginia Tech. Those 18 completions, a school record. The 31 also a school record for an individual. Back in 1935, they had 6 different quarterbacks combined for 31 pass plays.
And he also was only 11 yards short of setting a school record for yards passing in a game. Big day.
Long count, 2nd and 10. On the option. And beautifully read by number 6, Sean Walker, who came up to nail Gaddis right behind the line of scrimmage.
Oh, this is the option defense to the ultimate. You have to get cornerback support on the pitch man. Gundy has to get rid of the ball quickly. Look at Walker. He just flies up there. That's a picture-perfect tackle right there. Look, he got his helmet across the bow. Instead of just arm tackling, he shot his whole helmet across the body, tried to spear the ball with his helmet. That's a solid hit.
6.5 to go in the first quarter. Still no score. And the Sooners faced with 3rd and 11. Gundy with time. Goes across the middle. Intercepted. Mark DuBrava. DuBrava knocked out at the 16-yard line. Wow, and a flag on the play.
Well, Well, Dave, as we think back to the keys, that's one of the keys Coach Gibbs mentioned. Stay away from the turnovers, and on their second possession, they give it up. Interception from quarterback Gundy.
His third interception of the year, and a clip called against Iowa State. They'll have the ball, but they'll move it back 15.
Right, the clip came post-possession. After the interception, on the return, the clip occurred. Let's take a look once again. You see Iowa State trying to pressure up the middle, and pressure does, the pocket does break down. Poor decision by Gundy, and Dubrava comes up with a big pick.
Dubrava playing center field and picking that one off.
There's the
and
clip.
Iowa State will have the ball when we come back. With the ball on the 31-yard line of Oklahoma, 1st and 10. The first turnover of the contest goes ISU's way. Utter still in a quarterback. Caldwell in motion. Utter now can run with the ball. He eludes Bowden, but there's Chris Wilson to hit him. And you see the ratio for Oklahoma, especially that turnover. Look at that, a +7. One of those 13 interceptions will really help you out in those games for Oklahoma. And you look at the rushing yards, Iowa State. And now a new quarterback for Iowa State. Chris Peterson not getting the start, but here we are, the second play of the second series, and Peterson in at quarterback. 2nd and 3. There goes Williams, close to a first down at the 21.
Oh, nice little move right here. Peterson is a folk hero basically around here. He's the one that won the Oklahoma game last year. Might as well put him in here. You're almost in the red zone, the scoring zone. He can punch the ball in the end zone for you. Gives you that double option of throwing or running the football. Big horse. I mean, the pro scouts are interested in this guy because of his physical stature, and he can get it done on the football field.
Peterson going under a lot of pressure in the last couple of weeks, having his starting assignment taken away after Walden called him the quarterback of the conference during the Skywriters tour back in August. Sunday out of Patterson. He's going to be close to a first down. A hit there by Reggie Barnes might have stopped him just shy. Let's see where they mark it. I think they're going to have a measurement here at the ball right at the 21-yard line.
Well, if it is short, and it looks like it may be by the spot here, big decision for Coach Walden early in this football game. You got the wind at your back. Do you kick and get on the board with a field goal, or do you go for the first down and try to punch it in for a touchdown?
I go for it.
I go for it, too. What do you have to lose? I mean, this is your opportunity. You might as well take advantage of the field position that's been presented to you early in the game and go for the gusto.
Well, how many chances do you get to beat an Oklahoma? Last year was the first time in 29 years. So when you get those chances, you have to take them.
I think they're thinking right along with us here.
Well, it is 4th down and inches, and Walden not happy with that spot.
I like this move, though. Go for it right now. Be a riverboat gambler. Get on the board. Try to break the spirit of Oklahoma early.
All right, here we go. 4th and inches for Iowa State. They are going to go for it. And Peterson, remember, he really hurt OU last year with a quarterback draw. Patterson, the lone setback. Patterson goes in motion. Peterson, he'll have the first down and then some. Inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line, and the Sooners still haven't figured out a way to stop Chris Peterson.
That's a heads-up, smart senior quarterback. Was a natural cavity over his left guard position to take that quarterback sneak and take advantage of that cavity, and he got it. And Bowden is down and hurt a little bit. What a major blow that would be.
Boy, Joe Bowden in his senior campaign out of Mesquite, Texas, has 2 interceptions already this year, both of those 4 touchdowns. And Joe Bowden, as Gary Gibbs says, is one of the best linebackers not only at Oklahoma, but in the country. No score with 4:32 in the first quarter. Iowa State, we're in the first quarter with Dave Lapham. I'm Dave Armstrong. Welcome to our Big 8 game of the week on Prime Network. Iowa State driving at the Oklahoma 18. Sherman Williams, not much doing, maybe a yard inside. The secondary for Oklahoma this year has been nothing short of spectacular. 13 interceptions, and in 4 straight games, Oklahoma's returned an interception for a touchdown. Gibbs is very happy with his secondary this year.
Well, we feel like going in, Dave, that our defensive secondary and our linebackers would be better because of experience. but we've seen close to 50 passes a game, so when you see the ball in there that many times, you're going to get your opportunities for picks. We've probably dropped 5 or 6, so the total could be higher, but I think it's an indication of good experience play back there.
Peterson going for the end zone and in and out of the hands of Scott English. That one just a little bit overthrown, and that's easy to do with this kind of wind.
Really, he's got the wind at his back, and a lot of times when you throw the football, once it goes airborne, if the wind is at your back, it'll kind of hydroplane on you, take off. And that's what happened right here. Throws the football, just a little touch pass, but that ball just travels. Couldn't get 2 hands up to catch that football. And just a case where golden opportunity for Scott English. He's saying, oh, man, those chances don't come very often. Wide open.
That's what Oklahoma saw with Chris Peterson at quarterback last year. Now Peterson on 3rd and 10 at the 18. Williams in motion. Peterson getting some heat from behind. There might be a holding call as we have a flag on the play, and Peterson is sacked back at the 22.
Well, the gentleman that threw the flag, the linesman here, he's either going to call holding on the tight end or the offensive right tackle from his vantage point in the field. But I think you're right. This is, I think they'll take him back.
Now what do you do here if you're Oklahoma? Do you go ahead and set up a 4th down, or do you knock them back 10 yards and make it 3rd down all over again?
I take them back and make them do something for a play again. They'll take them out of field goal range, basically.
A referee today, Steve Usechik.
Holding, offense, decline, 4th down.
Gibbs is saying, no, let's go for it. Make him try to kick a field goal right here and now. And in comes Ty Stewart for Jim Walden. Ty Stewart, just a freshman who has felt both the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat this year. Last week against Rice, the 40-yard field goal to win it. The week before against Wisconsin, a 33-yarder block. A left-footed kicker. They'll spot this one at the 29-yard line. A 39-yard attempt. It is up, and it is good. And Iowa State scores first. The Cyclones taking advantage of the interception and come up with 3 points as Ty Stewart puts it in from the 39.
He wasn't quite sure right till the very end. It was hooking on him. And in fact, the Oklahoma defensive players all looked at the officials when they signaled good. They weren't quite in agreement with that, obviously, but I don't know. I guess a young freshman kicker, Coach Gibbs says, let's see if he can handle the pressure. But if they moved him back 10 yards and they were unsuccessful in that on the play after the penalty, they would have been a 49-yard field goal attempt rather than 39.
I think the wind helped him there too, because the wind pushing in, not exactly from one end to the other, but sort of a crosswind right now. And I think the wind pushed that ball through the goalpost.
And the wind, as we said, affects all facets of the game other than the running game. The kickers have to try to account for the wind. I mean, that's a factor. They have to put the ball out maybe a little bit further left if they have a hook, play it out, play the wind a little bit. Like if you're playing golf, you have to play the wind. I mean, that's a tough deal. Punters have to do the same thing. The only facet of the game that's not affected by wind is the running game.
Ty Stewart gives Iowa State a 3-point lead over Oklahoma. The Sooners coming in about a 3-touchdown favorite in this contest against Iowa State. Remember, Iowa State still with the wind mostly at their back here in the first quarter, and the ball flows off the tee. Now, they call this Cyclone Stadium, and I think it's aptly named. It feels like a cyclone blowing through here today.
And you saw that football as it rolled off the tee. The wind caught it from behind and rolled it about 7 or 8 yards downfield. You almost have to run to catch up to it.
You know, and Walden was saying, well, why not use this to our advantage? We're going to become a team that loves the wind because we get to play in it all the time. Ball again blows off the tee. Now they'll bring someone in. And the first orange comes out on the field. An Orange Bowl bid, perhaps, for Iowa State? Boy, some optimistic fans here in Ames. How quickly they turned. They were so upset with Jim Walden earlier. Now they're leading OU 3-0, and the oranges come out.
That's right. The Big 8 opener, you got a lead on the favorite. Why not? Let the oranges fly, huh?
A high end-over-end kick taken by Brewer at the 10. Brewer fighting his way outside the 25, knocked out of bounds at the 26-yard line. And this is the best field position now for OU and Cale Gundy. Gundy now just in his sophomore campaign, and Gibbs really likes his young quarterback.
Well, obviously, Cale Gundy's played very well for us the last 2 ball games. He's thrown the ball extremely well. He's made a lot of critical decisions during the course of the ball game as far as checks. He's a young player who played well for us as a pure freshman. He's someone who we count on heavily as far as directing our offense, and he's no question in our mind a key component in our offensive structure.
You know, Dave, Gibbs talks about Gundy doing a good job on the checks. What's he mean there?
He's talking about audibilizations at the line of scrimmage based on what a defense gives the offense.
Brewer, the ball carrier, not much doing. Hit first by Malcolm Goodwin. And Brewer looks to be hurt a little bit.
He's grabbing that right knee.
Oh, boy, another knee injury perhaps for Oklahoma. This is all they need. They had to suffer through 2 years with Mike Gaddis in the knee injury, and let's hope this is nothing serious for Dewell Brewer.
Very durable running back. That was his trademark. Let's take a look and see if we can see where the injury occurred. Just he's got a lead block, taking him to the out, turns it up inside. As he's stacked up and the bodies come piling in, it just looks like he got twisted a little bit. Maybe just twisted that knee in the pile. I'm not sure. I don't think that the severity of the damage will be, did he have his foot planted, the injured foot planted when everybody torqued his leg and fell on top of him?
Well,
that's going to be the key.
Hopefully it's nothing serious. Well, you hate to see anything like this, and I think you see more and more of the stadiums going back to the natural grass for the reason of this kind of an injury. Usually if it's something really serious, they bring the stretchers out, they immobilize it a lot, and it looks like he's already putting a little bit of pressure back on that right leg. Let's hope he's okay. We'll keep you posted, and we'll try to get an update for you on the exact injury status of Dewell Brewer.
You mentioned checks earlier, Dave, before the injury to Brewer. Now, in the huddle, the quarterback will give his teammates 2 plays. Say we're going to run this or run that play. When we get to the line of scrimmage, I'll identify the defense and listen to my cadence, and I'll give you a cue word in the cadence that tells you which play I'm going to run. That's called a check with me.
Pickup of 2 on first down by Brewer. Gundy wants to throw, and he has his receiver out at the 40-yard line. The ball caught there by Tink Collins, also a former quarterback. You look at OU, and they have so many of these guys as they have switched over from their wishbone attack. Guys like Tink Collins and Chris Melson, former quarterbacks, now playing at split end.
And this is the pass off the option. Fullback dive, takes it out of his belly. You see the pitch man go downfield. Another option off of the actual option run is to throw, which they did there.
Now the pitch out to Gaddis. He's got some room to run. Gaddis in open field inside the 50 and goes into Iowa State territory at the 46-yard line. A first down, and Gaddis now the lone tailback for Oklahoma. Ernest Williams back home in Norman with an injury.
And look at that left knee. You see a big knee brace there. Well, the reason was he got injured last year. Severe knee injury. And a lot of people thought that he would be a Heisman candidate before that injury, and now they're checking Brewer's right knee out, and by the facial expressions, obviously he's not real pleased with things.
I'm not sure if that's a knee or the ankle now. We'll have to get another look at that. Gaddis again. Look at that move. Gaddis, and Gibbs says his knee is fine. He's back to 100% again physically, and you would guess that to be true after seeing this move.
Gaddis is he's getting back to where he needs to be, and this is just man blocking. Everybody just lining up, trying to take the man in front of them off the line of scrimmage and give Gaddis a little bit of a crease. They did a good job of that. Oklahoma's offensive line fired off the football exceptionally well in that snap.
Well, we were at the Cotton Bowl when Gaddis injured that knee 2 years ago. A long, painful rehab process for Gaddis. McKinley tries to cut back inside. Not much doing there, but probably enough there for the ball to get down to the 36-yard line, and it's going to bring up perhaps a third down or maybe a first down. We'll see where they mark it. I think they're going to look at it now.
That's one thing that Oklahoma, of course, has done exceptionally well over the years, is run the football. This year they're averaging over 280 yards a game on the ground, which places them number 6 in the nation. And on first down, they've been so effective, Dave. They've been averaging over 6 yards per attempt on first down. And that's where Iowa State's been doing a good job today, getting Oklahoma into the second and third and longs because of the job they've been doing on first down.
Well, last week, Virginia Tech, though, held OU to under 200-yard rushing.
145. They played that 8-man front. They stacked the line of scrimmage with 8 men and dared them to throw the football. They said, if you're going to beat us, Gundy's going to have to be the man to beat us, and he did. He responded. 18 completion, school record. He completed 9 in a row in the football game, and they beat Virginia Tech.
Gundy's had 1 picked off here today, though. McKinley, big hole in the middle. McKinley tries to break it back outside and gets down to the way. And Walden saying, I don't care how it turns out as long as we get to keep the ball.
It looks like, by Coach Walden's body language, it looks like both penalties are against Oklahoma, and he says, we'll take the bigger of the two. We'll take the one to our advantage. Doesn't look like he's upset about what's being discussed, and he's within earshot of the whole thing.
Norway.
You got holding, defense, holding, offense, report now.
All right, after all that, no, is Walden upset?
Well, he didn't hear about that holding on the offense. He just heard them discussing the defensive holding. He thought he was in business. And boy, he's hot. He's pointing at one official and he says, you're killing us. You're killing us with all these offensive holding calls with our offensive line. He thought he had holding against Oklahoma in two different spots. He thought he might have had an outside linebacker and somebody in the secondary. He thought somebody was holding his receiver coming off the line of scrimmage, and then further downfield he was held again.
So you say you want to be a football coach?
Yeah, right. Well, that offensive line is doing a good job of trying to give him some separation. Right now, we can't. I didn't see any of the holding that was going on. Obviously, the holding incurred upfield a lot further. Mike Coates grabbed the receiver as he was working his way downfield. But the holding up in the offensive line, I didn't really see a whole lot of it going on.
Walden telling his staff, all right, back off. Let me be the one to be our spokesman here.
Now, what he might be mad about is the officials may have confused the numbers, might have confused the numbers with which team. That's happened before.
Now, they're still trying to sort this out. It's taken a long time here to figure out exactly what the call is going to be. I think Iowa State, you were right, Dave. They thought all the penalties were going to be against Oklahoma.
Right.
And all of a sudden, they came out with this offsetting announcement, and it really offset Walden.
Big time.
We got holding on the defense, 10-yard penalty.
All right, now they get it to where Walden will be happy. Yeah, I wonder if the other sideline, now wait a minute, Gibbs is going to say, hold on, come here, wait a minute, time out, I want to talk this one over.
Let's chat a little bit. I'll tell you, I like this guy's calm, though. I mean, he does not get rattled at all. It's being explained to him, and he's listening very intently. Let's see if he explodes after the whole explanation.
I don't think enough can be said about the job Gibbs has done. Not only, I mean, here they are, Sooners ranked back in the top 10 nationally again, but just the way that he has turned this program around from a public image standpoint has been truly amazing in just 3 short years.
He's a class act. I mean, I bet he's a very effective recruiter, Dave, because he's almost a contemporary. I mean, he played the game in the early to mid 70s. It's not like he can relate to these college athletes very, very effectively.
Well, it's 1st and 10 now for Iowa State inside Oklahoma territory at the 45. Caldwell not getting much against a Sooner defense that doesn't allow much on the ground. Reggie Barnes and Mike Coates there defensively.
Let's take a look at Reggie Barnes here, number 40 in the white jersey. See how he reacts. He absorbs the blocking off the line of scrimmage, throws it away, gets involved in the tackle. That's one of those. I'm not sure they're going to give him credit for an assist on that or not, because both of his teammates, that was just like falling on the pile. I've seen him make a lot better plays than that.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10. Caldwell in motion. Utter standing back, wants to throw. Now unloads and a flag on the play. The pass is caught by Chris Spencer. It's to the 30, a first down for Iowa State, but hold everything. There may be a hold on the Cyclones.
I think it is. I think they're going to call Paul Schulte. He was locked up with Reggie Barnes. I think they're going to call the tight end for holding in his pass protection. Barnes got the late penetration after defeating the block by Schulte.
That is a hold against Iowa State, so bring it all back.
Let's see if we can see the hold. It'll be on the left of the screen. The offensive lineman working here, but number 91 in the 91 in the tight end, he's on the ground right now getting off his knees. I think he might have been the person that was called for the holding. He was working against Barnes. Also, we had a case of
looks like Lance Keller was there as well.
Offense. Repeat, second out.
Well, he had his hands outside the framework of the body, but that's tough. The guy that made the call was the line judge, and the umpire would make the call probably on that tackle. He looks at the end guy on the line of scrimmage, and that time it was the tight end who was involved in the pass blocking, slow blocking. Paul Schulte was blocking on that defensive end, our man Barnes. He is a load. Quick.
Well, you see now the penalties really catching up to the Cyclones. 2nd and 20. The ball back on their own 44. Utter, look out. Now he just gets rid of it and almost picked off. Jason Belzer was coming up, and another flag on the play. This one might be something going against Oklahoma's defense as they hit Utter hard after he released the ball.
Is it another hold, or we have roughing the quarterback?
Yeah, that's a personal foul against Oklahoma.
That's an automatic first down, roughing the quarterback.
And Utter went over to the sidelines. I'm not sure he can continue. Watch the hit on Utter.
He could have stepped up in the pocket right there and avoided this punishment right there. The helmet was lowered and driven right through his chest. And once you hit the quarterback above his shoulders, let's see, lowers the head. It'll be in the left of the screen as he works his way in. Boom. That's Stacy, isn't it?
Yeah, Stacy Dillard. And Utter, I'm not sure he knows where he is right now. Bob Utter is utterly confused.
Yes. He's limping a little bit as he was working his way over there, too. He's a little bit disoriented at best.
And Chris Peterson. Well, this two-quarterback system is working for Walden. Peterson comes off the bench now. And it's 1st and 10 Cyclones at the 40-yard line. In motion goes Hill. Quick hitter inside to Spencer. He's got some room. Spencer down to the 12.
Both offenses are really taking advantage of this quick, I call it a pop pass. They just find the seam between the linebacker and the safety. Look, the inside linebacker trying to pursue from the inside out just can't get there. And the pass splits the two defenders very effectively, and it's almost off to the races. Trying to work from the inside out was Drew Chrisman out of that nickel defense and just couldn't get there in time.
Another first down for Iowa State. Now the ball at the 13-yard line. Peterson checking off at the line. Caldwell, no, nothing doing there. In fact, a loss of a couple. Reggie Barnes, we've called that name a lot for OU today. He was there along with Proctor Land.
Well, that play never really got started because the offensive line, it was that counterplay again where the offside guard and tackle was supposed to pull, but Oklahoma got so much penetration. Lance Keller, pulling from his tackle position, got knocked to the ground. So the running back got there, and he was naked. There were no lead blockers in front of him. All he saw was white Oklahoma Sooner defensive jerseys.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. We're nearing the 3.5-minute mark. That's the time remaining in the first half. Oklahoma leads 19-3. Peterson rolling out. And he's going to be hit out. A loss of about 8 more back at the 22-yard line. Iowa State also already now trying to get into the end zone, but now they're going in reverse. Mike Coates and Jason Belzer forced him out there.
Well, Peterson had nowhere to go with the football, was trying to buy as much time as he possibly could. Let's take a look at as he rolls out. Let's take a look at the linebacker's reaction. Right now, he's saying to himself, is he going to run or is he going to throw? What's he going to do? And Mike Coates, pursuing from the inside out, gets involved. And he says, well, obviously, he's committed to run the football, and I'm going to take care of it.
Now it's 3rd and 20. Ball back at the 22-yard line. Hill in motion again. Peterson hits it on the flat. That's Caldwell. Caldwell catches it and gets it inside the 12. They'll mark it around the 11-yard line. Darnell Walker hit him out there. Clock stops with 3:18 to go, and the field goal unit will come out for Iowa State.
Well, once again, Peterson has nowhere to go with the football but to the perimeter, and this makes it a lot more makeable field goal. I mean, you know, it's a case where if you can't get the ball in the end zone, at least get it in a scenario where your place probably has an opportunity. And that 10 yards that was generated right there makes it a lot less pressure on the place.
Stewart now 6 of 9 this year. This one from 29 yards. It is up, and it looks good from here, and it is good. 2 field goals by Ty Stewart, and Iowa State gets back on the board again, but Oklahoma still leading big 19-6 here in the first half. But a good ball game in Ames, Iowa.
It is a good football game. The Oklahoma defense once again holds it to a field goal situation. This was the problem that the Cyclones had offensively against Wisconsin earlier in the year. 7-6 loss. So they couldn't pump the ball into the end zone and had to settle for field goals. And ultimately, a final field goal attempt, a 33-yarder, was blocked and suffered a 1-point loss. But you know, they're moving the football. It's between the 20s. They're doing a decent job, just having a tough time in the red zone, Dave.
Well, Dave, a show I know you never miss. Every week, Prime Network and your local affiliate bring you Around the NFL with Bill Parcells and Mike Francesa. You can preview each week's upcoming NFL games with hot topics, guests, and insider information. That's the best part. That's Around the NFL every Friday at 3 p.m., then again at 10 p.m. Eastern on your local Prime Network affiliate. Jim Walden, who really went through the whole gamut of emotions on that drive, didn't he? The joy, the delight, and also he was really dismayed over some calls and dismayed also at his team going in reverse when he got back to the 13.
Well, he was fighting for his team. The officials obviously made a mistake in that offsetting holding situation, and we said earlier that he's pretty happy. Both holds are going against Oklahoma, and when they didn't, well, he made sure you get that rectified.
Well, one of the things that Iowa State accomplished in this drive, besides the field goal by Stewart, they kept that Oklahoma offense off the field for 4 minutes and 34 seconds.
11-play drive against an Oklahoma defense is not too shabby an effort. They don't really give up drives of that number of plays, sustained drives. They're so tough defensively. It's usually that old cha-cha coaches hate 1-2-3 punt, 1-2-3 punt. That dance step doesn't fly.
Ty Stewart's a kickoff for Iowa State. Back deep to get it for Oklahoma, Tink Collins and Otis Taylor. Stewart, just a freshman out of Omaha. He replaces Jeff Shudak, who is a terrific one here at Iowa State. High kick to Taylor, drops it at the 11. Running hard and hit hard is Taylor at the 27-yard line by Kevin Fulton. Fulton really knocked him.
I'll tell you, this freshman packs a punch. Fulton will deliver a hit. The coaching staff at Iowa State's very excited about having him around for 3 more years because he's not shy about contact, and it's good to have that kind of football player in the secondary.
What Gundy has done through the air so far today. That one interception resulted in a field goal for Iowa State, but those 2 touchdown passes have negated that. One to Corey Warren, one to Ricky Brady. And the give to Gaddis. Fighting around, he's not going to get much. All that running and maybe a yard or 2. Matt Nitchie making the stop. Earlier today, we saw an orange come out on the field back when Iowa State had a 3-point lead. Right now, Oklahoma trying to get back in the Orange Bowl. They're eligible again after coming off that probation. And Gary Gibbs talked about that being a motivating factor for his team this year.
I don't think there's any question that's been a motivating factor for our football team. We started talking about the Orange Bowl opportunity last year during our off-season program. That's something that drives our football team. I think it's very healthy.
For OU,
I think
2:29 to go. Gundy with another fake, and this one too far. Pass intended for Chris Melson, and the ball carried a little bit with the wind at Gundy's back.
Sean Walker bit on the pump fake once again, and this is just a straight drop back pack. There's the pump fake. Sean Walker bites, and his receiver takes off downfield. Just a little bit too much air under that football and overthrew it.
3rd and 9. Clock stopped with 2:23 to go in the first half. Iowa State getting the first 3 of the game. Then Oklahoma scoring 19 unanswered. They missed 2 extra points in that series of 19. And Iowa State just coming back just recently with another field goal from Ty Stewart. A lot of movement. And they're going to whistle that one dead. Iowa State jumping. They'll change it from 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 4 if it is against Iowa State.
They were definitely in the neutral zone. The question is, were they lured into the neutral zone? I think it's Iowa State just jumped. They did. Let's nobody. Oh, that's now those 2 defensive linemen. If anybody should not move, it's those 2. Because defensive line, they're not supposed to listen to the quarterback's voice at all. All you do is look at the football, and the ball's right under their noses. So don't move till that football moves, guys.
How is it that quarterbacks are able to draw a guy? I think it's It's nice to say just look for the ball, but I think every defensive lineman probably somewhere when they play listens to that quarterback cadence.
They do, and if a quarterback has a good hard count, boy, he can get him off every time. He gets him on a string. Yeah, that time Brandon Houston he lurched forward in his stance, and once you get 285 pounds lurching forward, you can't stop it in a hurry in midair.
Well, this has been exciting. 5 yards forward, 5 yards back.
It's like your car is stalling.
It's wasted ink on the typewriter on the play-by-play sheet.
You see far left of the screen right there. Well, yeah, it's not really on 2. I better wait to 3, but by that time it's too late. He comes out of his stance and kind of rolls forward. That's like a Brahma bull trying to freeze in midair, and it doesn't happen.
I bet in your 10-year career with the Bengals, you were never, ever called for that kind of penalty.
Never. It was amazing.
Yeah. Pass completed on the near side. Out of bounds at the 42-yard line goes Corey Warren. Kevin Lazard there defensively, but another first down for OU. Boy, this Gundy is impressive.
He is. He can throw the football, and he really can. You know, in answer to your question about not getting lured offside, well, I'll talk about that later. Here's Gundy taking that deep drop. Nice release, and the key there was his vision downfield was not impaired whatsoever. Pretty good protection up front, giving him that 5-yard separation to throw the football.
Gaddis had a little bit of a hole, and it's sealed by Iowa State at the 47-yard line. Coming in there defensively, Matt Nitchie again, also getting up off that pile. For Iowa State, Dan Milner, number 58.
He's a steady performer at that middle linebacker position. He'll give you 9, 10, 11 tackles a football game. And Iowa State runs that stunt 4-3 type defense, and they've got those 2 defensive tackles in the gap, kind of like cock their bodies on angles to consume offensive linemen. And really, the middle linebacker should make a lot of plays.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Play action. Gundy now has some room to run inside Iowa State territory. He goes down at the 42-yard line. Oklahoma has 2 timeouts if they choose to use them. They'll stop the clock briefly to move the chains.
Well, Iowa State got some pressure out of that stunt 4-3 defense up the middle. They got a little confusion in Oklahoma's offensive line, and the defensive tackles twisted. One broke free, but he just couldn't redirect his body enough to put adequate pressure on Gundy, and he found a running lane and took advantage of it.
See the time remaining in the first half. Oklahoma holding a 19-6 lead. Gundy again with some time, and a beautiful catch made by Corey Warren, and Lazard was right there defensively. Ball caught at the 25.
Well, Corey Warren is Gundy's favorite receiver. They're both sophomores, and he coming into today, he had 10 catches for 122 yards, and he's added to that this afternoon. Great protection, and that's a courageous effort right there. He knew the defender was down at his legs, and that's the kind of thing where you get your legs cut out from under you and you hit right on the back of your head when you come to the ground.
1 minute to go in the first half. In motion goes long. Gundy is going to be sacked behind the line of scrimmage. Big play defensively there by Radigan. Larry Radigan in his senior campaign out of Council Bluffs comes in and sacks Gundy behind the line, and a timeout taken by Oklahoma. They have 1 remaining now. Oklahoma calls a timeout with 49 seconds to go.
Radigan came. All he did was just take his pass rush, and pulling guard, they tried to run a play-action pass, and the pulling guard, Jeff Ressler, just never had a shot at him. Radigan just got upfield, got the penetration, and got the sack. Now, Radigan moved from linebacker to defensive end for this game due to injury day, and the biggest adjustment for him was rushing the quarterback every snap instead of dropping back in pass coverage, and that time he was very successful putting the heat on Gundy.
That moves the ball back to the 32. It might also have taken Oklahoma out of field goal range.
It'd be a long effort now to be about a 50-yarder.
Well, they do have some wind, not necessarily right at their back, but sort of at their back for the freshmen. You look right now, they're working on that snap. That's something they've had trouble with on a couple of extra point attempts.
Right. You know, you take for granted there are 3 components to successful place kicking: snap, hold, and kick. And any one of the 3 if any one of the 3 is disjointed, it's an unsuccessful effort. I'll tell you, an accurate, consistent deep snapper is worth his weight in gold. There are many guys that made a big living in the NFL doing nothing but deep snapping.
You were playing center some in your career. Did you ever deep snap? Were you good at that?
No, I never did learn that, and I really should have. And I recommend to any offensive lineman, if you can play any more than one position, make sure that you involve deep snapping. It can be really beneficial to your career.
2nd and 17 now for OU at the 32. Again, movement, and now I think it's going to be against Oklahoma. It looks like Jeff Ressler came up out of his three-point stance.
This is going to be an interesting one. Randy Wallace saw them jump, and he tried to snap the football to catch him in the neutral zone.
Well, there's no whistle, no flag on the play. Now they say, let's get the clock rolling.
Huh.
That's a strange one.
That's a do, huh? It's like when you're playing touch football in your backyard.
Gundy feeling pressure again. Rolls out, went out of bounds. Pass caught by Joey Mickey, but out of bounds, and the clock stops with 27 seconds to go.
I've never seen the play prior to this, but you see, look, you got to get at least 1 foot in bounds. Look, the heel comes down, out of bounds, does not count. You have to have 1 foot in bounds for it to be a successful catch in college football.
And that heel came down out of bounds.
Right.
If he was deft enough just to land on his toe, he could have gotten away with it.
That's right. But that was one of the bigger type receivers. That was tight end Joey Mickey.
269 pounds. Tough to come down on your toes when you weigh 270.
Right. You might break it.
That's right. 4th down. Oklahoma's going to go for it here. Gundy wants to put it up in the end zone, and it is incomplete. Sean Walker was there defensively on Ted Long, and Long is upset. Long says, wait a minute. Walker really bumped me. But Walker is contending that I went for the ball.
That's right. He has the right to the football, and he has a right to a spot on the football field, and Long and he are going for the football. It's not a case the defensive back has better position to get at the football at that juncture than Long does. So really, no real beef there.
Yeah, Gundy and Long trying to get their signals straight here. 22 seconds to go. Let's see what Iowa State chooses to do here before we head to the locker room. And if Chris Peterson chooses to throw here, he's going to have to throw into a stiff breeze. Caldwell goes in motion. Looks like Iowa State does want to throw. Barnes is really chasing Peterson. I think Peterson heard those footsteps, says, I'm getting out of here. I'm going down.
He did realize that he was there as he turned to throw back across the field. That was going to be a throwback pass, but Barnes, man, he had those jackhammer feet moving. That is good speed for a defensive end.
Well, that's going to do it. Iowa State scores the first 3, but it's all Oklahoma pretty much from there. Oklahoma with 19 straight. 2 field goals for Stewart is all that Iowa State could manage. 3 touchdowns for Oklahoma. 2 touchdown passes from Cale Gundy. It all translates to a 19-6 lead for Oklahoma. 19-6 with yard line. OU's offense starting to kick into gear. Matt Nitschke finally brings him down, but another first down for the Sooners.
Well, the first option that the quarterback has on the option play is the fullback dive. And if they're going to be able to run the fullback dive north and south McKinley like this, they're in trouble. Look at Iowa State getting knocked off the football. I mean, they were on skates going backwards. You give a guy a quarter for a ride like that in an amusement park.
1st and 10. The ball spotted at the 19. Gaddis again. Nice move to elude the tackle. It looked like the driver was coming up to try to make the hit. Gaddis put quite a move on him to get down to the 11.
The old limp leg. Give him the leg and take it away. And Dubrava, he led the Big 8 from a secondary standpoint in tackles. Sure tackler, not that time. Gaddis gave him that leg, took it away, and Dubrava was out into space, a little bit out of control.
So it's 2nd and 2 now for OU at the 11. Sooners trailing 3-0. The closing seconds of the first quarter. 21 seconds to go in the first stanza. In motion goes Melson. Gaddis again. Gaddis with Brewer on the sidelines, injured, is picking up huge yardage for Oklahoma and gets it inside the 10 down to the 7-yard line.
We just mentioned how successful Iowa State had been on first down. Well, 2 consecutive first downs. One was McKinley's big run for about 15 yards when he rumbled up the middle. Then Gaddis on that series, first down, picked up 8 yards. So here we go with a 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Iowa State fell down a little bit with the job they were doing on 1st down.
Now they're going to let the quarter run out here. So Oklahoma will have 1st and goal at the 7. But Oklahoma trailing Iowa State after the first 15 minutes of play. The Cyclones on a 39-yard field goal from Ty Stewart lead the 5th-ranked Sooners 3-0. The ball at the 7-yard line. Gaddis again, pulling ahead inside the 5, down to the 4. Travis Block stopped him there. Iowa State leading here as we start the 2nd quarter, 3-0. With Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong at Cyclone Stadium in Ames, Iowa.
Well, the coaching staff for Oklahoma just letting Oklahoma's offensive line try to take control of the line of scrimmage here, establish themselves a little bit. They've run the ball extremely effectively in this drive.
Gaddis now 41 yards on the ground in 7 carries. 2nd and goal at the 4. Gundy audibleizing at the line. On the option, Gundy looking for the end zone. He won't make it. Malcolm Goodwin stopped him at the 2.
Well, that's a sure tackle right there. You talk about wrapping your arms up. Goodwin did a fantastic job of that. And he's one of the inside linebackers, the middle linebackers that are giving them big 8 type play. Look at this effort right here. Boom. Across, reaches, wraps around the waist where the quarterback bends and takes him right to the turf. And they're getting good play out of their middle linebackers, Dan Milner and Malcolm Goodwin.
Number 40, Malcolm Goodwin, played in the shadows of Cyclone Stadium at Ames High. 3rd and goal at the 2. The pitch back to Gaddis. Touchdown Sooners. He walked into the end zone, and Oklahoma takes their first lead of the game.
That's some great blocking up front by the Oklahoma right side of the offensive line, walling everything off. Just a straight pitch. Everything was walled off to the point there was no inside-out pursuit. Look, here's the stunt 4-3. Linebacker Milner trying to pursue the guard, picks him up. Everything's walled off. A tremendous lane for Gaddis to cut back into. And he found himself about 5 yards deep in the end zone before he had a finger laid on him.
Joey Mickey, the tight end, also a good block inside there for Oklahoma as Gaddis scores his 3rd touchdown of the year. That one no good. Scott Blanton comes on for the point after, and it's no good.
It was blocked. Somebody got a hand on it. Good penetration up front from Iowa State. Deflected the thing.
But Mike Gaddis gets the Sooners on the board, and they lead now by 3, 6-3 over Iowa State. 6-3 our score. Oklahoma with a touchdown, but they failed to convert the extra point.
Little penetration. Somebody got a little hand on it. You can see the ball is deflected. It just has a funny waggle to it. Somebody got a hand on it to deflect it a little bit.
Oh, no, he dropped it. The ball was dropped. Nobody ever blocked it. The snap was just dropped.
I thought it was penetration up the side by Matt Nitschke that might have caused a little bit of a deflection there. But no, that was a futile effort on the snap, hold, and kick.
Bad hold for OU, but they still hold a 3-point lead at 6-3. Just the start of things. Whoa, look out. Yeah, this looks like Lucy was out there. The invisible Lucy taking the ball off the tee from Charlie Brown.
The wind, she's a-blowing here.
Yeah.
This is a wind tunnel.
Well, it's 6-3 now. I was just going to ask you, is the wind having an impact on the score here today? Do you think it's going to be more of a defensive game?
I think it is. I think the wind is a huge factor.
Joel Brewer going off on a cart. This is not a fun ride for anybody in football.
Sure isn't. Knee injuries or ankle injuries are tough to deal with.
Blanton will boom this one into the end zone and through, and Iowa State will start on the 20. As we take a look at Joel Brewer going off for Oklahoma. A very sad face on the Joel Brewer and the trainers for Oklahoma.
And you can see that he had a knee immobilizer on his leg. It's not his ankle, it is his knee. When he went down, he grabbed that right knee right away, and that is where the injury is.
We'll try to get you an update on how serious that knee injury is to Brewer if we can. You see Oklahoma only 74 yards in 11 plays. Gaddis the bulk of the work, and he goes in from the 2 in 4:47, and Oklahoma leads by 3. Bob Utter back in at quarterback for Iowa State. In motion goes Caldwell. Utter with a quick hitter that's incomplete to Paul Schulte, the tight end.
Well, that was the play, remember, in the first drive that Iowa State executed to Lamont Hill to generate a first down. Same type of play. Formation varied a little bit, different receiver, but this time unsuccessfully.
You know, we talked with Jim Walden yesterday about Bob Utter, his sophomore quarterback, and he says he's got the guts of a riverboat gambler.
He's feisty. Everybody says, how does he compare talent-wise with Chris Peterson? He's smaller, more slightly built, but has as good a tool. Chris is 6'2½", 215 pounds. Bobby Utter's 5'11", barely. Weighs 180 pounds. He makes up for the size with confidence, and he's got just as good a passing tools and quarterback tools as Pete does.
Utter throws it long and almost intercepted by Terry Ray. That would have been the 14th interception for OU.
In a conversation we had with Coach Gibbs yesterday, he said, yeah, we've had 13 interceptions, but we dropped about 5 or 6 others. And this goes into the category of an interception that was dropped. Great protection. Utter just fires that football as far as he can downfield, double coverage, and it should have been picked. Fortunate that it wasn't. Oklahoma should have had that interception. Terry Ray is a little bit disappointed with himself right now.
To put their 13 interceptions in perspective, the team record for the year is 26.
Right.
They have 13 already.
By 10 different people.
The draw play goes nowhere. Sherman Williams stopped, and now it's 3 and out for Iowa State, and the tide is turned.
That's the thing that amazes me is 13 interceptions is incredible, and they've been shutting the running game down so much, and people have had to throw the football, so they've been throwing the football about 50 times a game. But Oklahoma's been playing backup people because of the scores of the game. Even the backup people, Dave, are picking the football off. 10 different guys. That is incredible.
Otis Taylor back to get the punt of John Schnorr, who's to kick into the breeze now. The last time that 45-yarder pinned OU back on the 4. Not a bad kick into the wind, and it takes an Iowa State bounce inside Oklahoma territory. They're going to mark it down at the 43-yard line. The Sooners will start at the 43. 12:36 to go in the first half. The Sooners will have the ball with their 6-3 lead. Oklahoma, Freudian slip, I guess. Mike, his older brother who played at Oklahoma State. The pitch back to Gaddis. Hit hard by Lazard. Lazard, who recovered an onside kick in the closing moments against Rice last week that allowed Iowa State to go on and beat the Owls.
Watch the move that Gaddis makes on Kevin Fulton. Kevin Fulton could have him for a 5-yard loss. Here's the pitch. Fulton comes up and just can't make the play, but Lazard comes up and makes a short tackle. That's a teeth jar right there. You better make sure your fillings are still all tightly in place.
Lazard just a sophomore. It's a young Iowa State team.
Sure is. There's only offensively, Iowa State only plays 1 senior in the starting role.
Play action. Gundy still got it across the middle. And the ball was tipped around. The pass intended there for Ted Long.
This Iowa State defense, Dave, they get 4 seniors on the defense. They're all in the defensive line today. They got 4 juniors, a sophomore, and 2 freshmen.
Pass intended for Tink Collins. Excuse me, number 9, not number 3.
And it was a catchable ball. It was a catchable ball. And, you know, Tink will go back to Gundy and say, hey, I know how it is. If I threw a ball like that when I played quarterback, I'd expect my receiver to catch it. And I know you expected me to come up with that one.
Oklahoma, even though they've gone to the more of a passing game, they still have not recruited a lot of wide receivers. You look at Collins, a former quarterback. They've got a wide receiver they recruited, Jawan Penny, but he is being redshirted this year. And Ted Long catches that one inside Iowa State territory. Good pass from Gundy, and Iowa State will now be forced to try to defend the goal again as Oklahoma's on the move at the 42.
Watch number 95, Matt Rayberg right here. He gets spin move to the inside. Gundy gets rid of the football under duress. Rayberg's already right at his knees hitting the quarterback as he releases the football. He releases it with authority on rhythm. That's a good play by quarterback Gundy.
Gundy showing a lot of poise. Started for OU in the 5th game last year as a freshman, a true freshman, and he's been in there ever since. Gaddis stood up at the 37. Matt Nitchie in on the hit again for Iowa State. Nitchie, a sophomore. Again, we talk about the youth of Iowa State.
They're extremely young. 2 redshirt freshmen, a sophomore, 4 juniors on that defense. I mean, that's a young crew, and the coaching staff likes to see Gaddis make a move that he made there. Nitchie's got a little bit of a stiff neck after making the hit, but Gaddis has got a lot of confidence in that knee now when he'll do spin moves like he made on the last run.
Gibbs looking at 2nd and 4. Gaddis again. Shoved out of bounds at the 28. Another first down for OU. And all of a sudden, the Sooners are really on the move.
Well, we've mentioned a few times, the only thing the wind doesn't affect is the running game. When you get blocking like this, look at the seal. Everything's sealed off inside. Gaddis has the perimeter without much interference whatsoever. The key block on that play was Brunninger, pulled from his off-tackle position and sealed the whole perimeter for Gaddis to take advantage of.
1st and 10 OU at the 28. 6-3 and first downs. That's also our score. Kenyon Rashid missed a couple up the middle. That's about it. Rayberg was there. Nitchie was also in on the stop.
The guy who really messed things up was Travis Block. As his guard pulled in front of him, he just penetrated, knocked the guard down to the ground. The running back ran up his back. Number 65 there in the red jersey. Travis Block is the guy that got the penetration that kind of discombobulated the whole play from the word go.
2nd and 9. 10:30 left to go in the first half. 6-3 Sooners. Straight back for Gundy. Out to Gaddis. Gaddis is hit hard at the 15 and flags come in. Malcolm Goodwin was there defensively along with Kevin Fulton for Iowa State.
The only thing I can think of is a lineman get downfield a little too early in this screen pass. It may have been an ineligible receiver downfield once he released. But there were 2 flags that were thrown, so we may have 2 infractions here. But I would assume, yeah, there it is, ineligible. One of the guards, when he pulled out of their guard or center into a screen pass, he got downfield in front of the line of scrimmage before the ball was in the air. Once the ball's in the air, it's okay to get downfield.
Is that a timing play then for you as an offensive lineman?
It is. You sustain your block for a couple of counts, and then you release your man. You have to go horizontally to the sideline.
Ineligible, downfield, against the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Sounded like he was saying a plural, ineligibles.
Yeah, exactly. You see the offensive lineman, look at Houston there, number 70 in the white. You can see he looked like he was the primary receiver in the pattern. He's about 5 yards downfield. When he released, he didn't release horizontally. He went vertically downfield, and that was his mistake.
So instead of another first down for OU, it's 2nd and 14 back on the 32. The pitch back to Gaddis. He's got some room outside. Gaddis straight arms his way out of bounds at the 22. Lazard forced him out there.
Nice block in the perimeter on Kevin Fulton, Oklahoma. They're starting to block very well. See the 2 running backs, one in motion. Watch the block on number 36 in the red. There's a good block inside. Look at the block right there on Fulton by the motion back. And the inside linebacker was also walled off on the play. Once you get your running backs blocking that well, Cole was walled off and Fulton was walled off, and you get to the perimeter without much problem.
Gaddis now 12 carries for 65 yards. 3rd and 4. Big play here for the Iowa State defense. Radigan making a big stop on Gaddis, and it's going to be close to a first down. Again, we'll have to wait for the spot.
This is almost the exact same portion of the field where Iowa State had to make their decision on 4th and short. And Oklahoma's looking at
a 4th down about 6 inches shy.
Well, this is confidence in your offensive line and your running game. You have a 3rd down and about 4 or 5 to go, and you just run the fullback right up the gut and come within inches of getting it. And now Oklahoma has to make the decision. Do we go for it on 4th down, or do we line up for the field goal? They're going to go. They
are going to go. Rashid, the ball carrier there, not Gaddis. McKinley comes in, and now Gundy's saying, wait a minute, let's talk this over. A 4th down and inches for Oklahoma, and Gundy not sure he had the right personnel into the game. So the first time out for OU this half with 9:37 to go. in the first half of play, with Oklahoma leading 6-3. Iowa State came out, Dave, with a good kick that pinned OU back on the 10. Then they took advantage of an interception for a field goal, and they really controlled things with the wind at their back in that first quarter.
I have to give a lot of credit to Oklahoma's defense, though. They weathered the storm there and only gave up 1 field goal. And the field position that their offense had and not able to do much with it put a lot of pressure on the Oklahoma defense. Instead of crumbling, they bowled their backs and made Iowa State earn everything. And basically, out of all that bad field position, they only gave up 3 points.
You look at Robin Ross, the defensive coordinator, and this is how the teams stack up, both offensively and defensively. Iowa State's offensive line, we talked about it being close to 300 pounds. They are really huge. They got one guy 336 pounds. And then the other way, defensively, only 249-pound average for Iowa State.
Right, and you know, offensively, when you have Sarkweed in there this afternoon at 308 pounds as started, that does put him up to about 305-pound average. Because he replaces a guy that was in the 270s. The thing
you know what that does? That puts a lot of pressure on whoever's cooking for the training table.
Yeah, that's right. Pre-game meals are paramount.
Yeah, that's right. 4th and inches for OU. Gundy on the quarterback sneak. And I believe he's got enough for the first down for OU.
That's just an attitude play right there. That's basically what Iowa State did, too, on the 4th and short. They're going to say, let's see who can control the line of scrimmage. Iowa State did on their conversion when Peterson got the first down, and Oklahoma did on this time.
Now, again, that weight advantage really plays a big part.
It does. In a situation like that, Dave, when you have 4th and inches, quickness can negate size, but not in that scenario.
Gundy, quick hitter in the middle. It's a touchdown for Ricky Brady. For Brady, his first touchdown of the year. Ricky Brady, a highly sought-after tight end out of Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma, with their 2nd straight touchdown, now lead 12-3.
Oh, it's just a good read by Gundy, and his tight end runs a nice pattern in the seam right between the linebackers and the secondary. Off of the option fake once again, freezes the linebacker a little bit so he can't get a deep enough drop to cut that angle down, and he cuts in front of the safety and outside the linebacker for 6.
Latin for the point after. This time it's good. And Oklahoma, with 9:19 to go in the first half, has opened up a 10-point lead on Iowa State. 13 straight points for the Sooners to lead 13-3. Come back to Stadium. Oklahoma now leading by 10. Scott Blanton to kick off. This is a short kick. And it's going to be fielded at the 14-yard line. And now a hole.
That's what happens a lot of times on kicks like that, Dave, is that the coverage people watch the bobble. Bobbled a few times. That ball was almost dropped and caught about 3 times by Ridley, and then he breaks it upfield. And what it did, the timing was disrupted in Oklahoma's coverage, and they found a little bit of a crack, a seam, and he took advantage of it.
Oklahoma scoring drive in just over 3 minutes. Brady with a 17-yard touchdown reception. And Cale Gundy, his 3rd touchdown pass of the year. And for Brady, his 1st touchdown reception of the year. Ball to 32 now for Iowa State to get their offense going again. Utter still in at quarterback. That's Caldwell on the run, picking up about 4 yards on first down.
Watching this Oklahoma, is that a flag on the field there in the middle of the football field?
It
looks like it. A hold, maybe? Yes, we do. Like it comes. Watching this Oklahoma defense operate here so far, a quarter and a half, Dave, I'm really impressed with them. I mean, they've got quickness. They separate from blocks real well. They're a veteran team. 8 seniors and 3 juniors. I mean, when you have 8 seniors, and some of them I'm sure are redshirt seniors, that's experience that you just, I mean, you can't buy. It's a great thing to have when your defense has that much experience.
And yet Gibbs is complaining a little bit that his numbers are down, and Jim Walden complaining a little bit that that call was not right. He didn't like that hold call against Iowa State.
Well, he's saying if you're going to call it both ways. Let's even things up. He's probably in the official's ear saying, hey, they're holding us all over the field. Let's give us a couple of those. You know, it's just like in basketball. You know how coaches work the referees from the bench in basketball? Do the same thing in football. Football coaches can work the officials from the sideline, and with a lot of success sometimes.
Brandon Hughes bringing the play in to Bob Utter. It's now 2nd and 21 back on the 22. Caldwell not much on that 2nd down play up to the 25. So now it's going to be 3rd and very long for Bob Utter. A lot of pressure on here with that Oklahoma secondary looking to maybe pick off another.
Well, yeah, when you get a holding penalty on the first play of a game and you find yourself on 1st and 20 against a team that's as good a defensive football team as this, that is a tough scenario. Plus, you're into the wind. You could find yourself in a 3rd and long situation, and you just start to get a little bit tentative in your execution.
Well, it's now 2nd down, 2nd and 18. Across the middle, picked off. The 14th interception for Oklahoma. This one, Terry Ray. Ray is hit down at the 37-yard line. Oklahoma, wow, with their 14th interception of the year.
Well, Terry Ray dropped one, as we remember back. He's the one that was hit right between the numbers earlier in the football game and dropped it. This one, he held on to. And Utter this time, once again, overthrew his receiver. Overthrown. Safety's closing on it. An easy interception. It's kicked. Now he's going to play a little bit of tailback. He probably was a high school tailback, and he says, I'm going to dust off my running talents here on this return.
Not only was he overthrown, but I thought Hill was too well covered to even try to throw to him there.
Right. You got to check down and take what the defense gives to you.
Gundy wants to go for the home run on 1st down.
Boy,
he's looking for Corey Warren in for the touchdown. Oklahoma, after the interception, converts for a touchdown. Wow, Cale Gundy.
I'll tell you, I got to give Corey Warren the tip of the cap on that one. What an adjustment he made to the football. He was so wide open. Gundy, it's a little pump fake. Watch as you see, they start with the option again. Little pump fake. Boom, Warren takes off. The defender is bitten on the pump fake. Look at that. He makes an adjustment over the other shoulder and stays with the football. That is one tough catch that young man just came up with. That's big time.
Warren with his 2nd touchdown reception of the year. And now a fake on the extra point conversion. And look out. Scrambling for his life in there for Oklahoma is Russell Jones. Jones had fumbled a snap earlier, and Jones trying there on the fake to get the 2-point conversion. It does not work.
I think it was another little bit of a problem. It wasn't an intentional fake. He realized that the timing was, the snap was high. He got the ball down. The kicker was going to be there too early. They were going to have another botched extra point, so they tried to go for 2.
Take another look at that touchdown.
Nice pump fake right there. The defender bit, and it's just wide open for Corey Warren, and that catch is, I can't emphasize enough. He's looking over his inside shoulder, the ball's thrown over his outside shoulder, and he makes a catch directly over his head, adjusting from the inside to the outside shoulder. That is, I'll tell you, the NFL scouts look at that and say the man's got big league talents.
Man, Oklahoma has exploded here in the 2nd quarter.
They'll throw the football, won't they? I mean, they're firing and falling back a little bit here.
I'll tell you, this is the kind of offense that Sooner fans had hoped to see when Cale Gundy decided to play his football at Oklahoma. And it's interesting to note that Gundy and his brother Mike Gundy, who played at Oklahoma State for 4 years, both have the same offensive coordinator. Larry Coker came over from the Cowboys to be the offensive coordinator for the Sooners when Cale Gundy decided to go to OU. Has it at the 8. Cuts back and gets up to the 24, and that's it. Crowd wants a little bit of a late hit there on the part of OU, but no flags are on the field.
Well, the Oklahoma bench and the Oklahoma players getting a little fired up here.
Oh, look at the scoring drive. Doesn't take long, does it?
That's a quick strikeability right there. 37 yards in one play, and it was one beautiful play executed on both ends well by quarterback and receiver.
Well, we've seen this twice now this year. Remember when in our Colorado-Minnesota game when Colorado recovered that fumble, and then on the first play it was Darian Hagan going up top for 40 yards on the touchdown, and the rest was really history for Minnesota. That was 58-0. Walden not happy at all now. His 3-0 lead has vanished. It's 19-3 Sooners. Utter still in at quarterback. On the run, he finds Hill, who breaks a tackle and gets up to the 43. First Touchdown, Iowa State. Russell Allen finally brought him down for OU.
Nice move by Lamont Hill. Oklahoma defenders thought that he was going to spin the other way and get to the sideline to get out of bounds. There's a little bootleg once again. Naked bootleg out there all by himself. Receiver turns back inside to give him a block. Watch, receivers think he's going to turn to the outside and get out of bounds. He fools them, gets back to the middle of the field, picks up about another 7 or 8 yards with the missed tackles. Hey, look at his helmet there. Looked like a little case of The Exorcist. His head was twisted grotesquely.
1st and 10 for Iowa State at the 43. Tripped up right at midfield. Reggie Barnes, again, another big defensive play for OU.
I'll tell you, something that offensive linemen you can't take for granted is when you're blocking on the backside away from the play. This time, watch number 75 in the red. Look at it. He stays with his block, sustains his block, knocks his man off the line of scrimmage about 5 yards. That play was designed to go off right tackle. He knocked his man off the ball, cut it all the way back to his position of left tackle, and he sustained his block. Lance Keller did. Great job.
Still a big pickup on 1st down for Iowa State. It's 2nd and 3. Caldwell again, and he is nailed by Bowden.
That's a hit. that will stop you cold right there. That was the old counter play. Once again, you'll see the guard and tackle from the backside. Watch to the top of the screen. Everybody play. Here comes the big people. Boom. He gets his kickout block, and the tackle missed Bowden. That was just a flat-out whiff. If he lays a finger on Bowden, we might be running for some yards there. Just missed by the right tackle.
3rd and a long 2. Flag on the play. Bowden again on the hit. Caldwell again on the run. It's going to be shy, I think, of the 1st down marker, but we still have a flag on the field.
I wonder if Oklahoma lined up off sides. I didn't see any premature movement. I wonder if they lined up in the neutral zone. I guess there was movement on it.
Illegal procedure indicated against Iowa State.
Let's see if Oklahoma decides to accept this.
Yeah, the right guard. That's a tough one. Everybody's moving just as the ball snapped, and usually the umpire will call.
Offense. Repeat 3rd down.
The umpire will usually make that call on the interior line. I wonder if somebody in the backfield flinched a little bit early, or somebody on the perimeter. I don't know. As an old lineman, I think if they called the lineman for moving early on that one, I can't agree with it.
See, Iowa State has really been hurt by penalties so far here today. They've also been hurt by the arm of Cale Gundy, who's thrown 2 touchdown passes. In motion goes Caldwell. 3rd and 7. Hutter wants to go for it all. He was looking for Caldwell in the flat, and we've got a flag down on the play over on that side of the field. Might be a pass interference call against Oklahoma.
Or a holding or something.
And there's a flag also down near the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, there's 2 different flags. We have two different infractions here. I'm wondering if they're calling Iowa State for a hold and a defensive infraction in the secondary. This may be a offset repeat scenario of the down.
Steve Usacek will sort it out for us. And he's going to sort it out for himself first.
Much discussion going on.
He's like, now wait a minute. What do we have here? We got this way and this. It is all that Iowa State could manage. 3 touchdowns for Oklahoma, 2 touchdown passes from Cale Gundy. It all translates to a 19-6 lead for Oklahoma. 19-6 with Dave Lapham. I'm Dave Armstrong, and they have a good first half for Iowa State, leading 3-0. Oklahoma, obviously a powerful team, being ranked 5th in the country.
I'm really impressed with 2 things. Oklahoma's defense, everything is advertised in terms of their ability to swarm all over the football field, and Gundy he's for real a quarterback. Oklahoma's starting to get control of the line of scrimmage, running the ball well, but Gundy gives them a nice mix.
Well, Gundy got off to a shaky start, throwing an interception that gave Iowa State great field position. They knocked in a field goal after this.
Yeah, Oklahoma was suffering from the bad field position in this scenario, and Gundy forced it. And this gave Iowa State a breath of fresh air to start the football game off and to take the early momentum.
Dubrava went out at the 17. They had a clipping call, and that forced them to go for the field goal. And then Gaddis took over with Brewer injured. Gaddis goes in from 2.
And just great blocking up front by the Oklahoma offensive line, sealing the right side totally, and did a great job.
Utter throws one where probably he shouldn't have thrown it, and it's picked off by Jason Belser, the 14th interception for OU this year.
14 interceptions by 10 different people. Those numbers are almost mind-boggling when you think about it. And remember, once again, their record for the season is 26. They're already at 14.
On the very next play, Gundy goes up top, and he throws the touchdown. Look at this catch by Warren.
This catch is incredible. He goes from the inside shoulder to the outside shoulder, catches the football directly over his head. I can't tell you how difficult that is until you try to do it yourself.
All right, what stands out to you as we look at these stats?
Well, just the dominance that Oklahoma's starting to generate here, particularly at the line of scrimmage. Look at the rushing yards, a 100-yard differential there. And one thing that doesn't show here that is interesting, time of possession is only a 30-second differential. Everything else, though, is in Oklahoma's favor, including the score.
Unless you think that 15 yards rushing for Iowa State is a misprint, remember, Oklahoma holds their opponents to 35 yards rushing average for a game.
That's right. This is no exception to that rule. They are tough against the run.
Well, Iowa State trailing by 13. They came up with 13 fourth-quarter points to upset OU last year. Will they do it again this year? Come back and find out. Back Trice Field, Cyclone Stadium in Ames, Iowa. The third quarter set to begin here with Oklahoma kicking off to Iowa State. Oklahoma will have the wind at their back for the third quarter. Back deep for Iowa State to get it, Lamont Hill. And kicking off for Oklahoma is Scott Blanton. This one goes deep and in the end zone. They've got to run it out. No choice. Ball bounced into the 5-yard line, then back into the end zone. No choice for Iowa State but to run it out, and miscue for the Cyclones to start the second half. And it looks like it's going to be Chris Peterson starting the second stanza for Iowa State. Peterson in that first half, 2 of 3 for 38 yards.
And Iowa State starts the second half off just like Oklahoma started the game off. Oklahoma, the opening kickoff, had a little bit of misfortune and fumbled it out of bounds at their own 10-yard line. Iowa State not much better, starting off at their own 12.
So the field position game being handled right now by OU to start the third quarter. In motion goes Hill. Peterson with the quick drop and a quick hitter to Chris Spencer. That'll give him some room to operate. Ball goes up to the 20-yard line. A pickup of 8 on first down.
That's, once again, is a key. What you can do on first down, that's the same pattern that they've been very successful with all football game, getting it between the linebacker and the safety before a reaction can be made. When you can pick up that kind of yardage on first down, your whole game plan's available to you on second down.
3 of 4 now for Peterson in this game. Again, we have Hill in motion. Caldwell breaks it outside and then is nailed by number 88, Trey Tippins. Really hit him hard.
This is a case, Dave, of Oklahoma's quickness and their ability to separate from blocks. This is a little cutback. Tippins plays it pretty well, and he comes up and he just explodes on the ball carrier. I mean, his ability to close on the football is exceptional right there. Not fooled. The play was designed to go off the right side. He stayed at home and waited for the ball to cut back to him, and he just decimated the play.
3rd and 1. Hill again in motion. Caldwell, no, it's Patterson. Sunday out of Patterson, the fullback, and he'll have the first down for Iowa State at the 23-yard line.
Once again, though, those yards in the ground are tough to come by. You get a 2nd and 3 situation after completing a pass on first down. You have to do, Iowa State does everything they possibly can just to generate 3 yards. Oklahoma is one tough defense against the run. No big surprise, we said a few times, number 1 in the nation stopping the running game. They held North Texas to 1 yard rushing for an entire game. That's almost mind-boggling.
It really is. And 15 for Iowa State in that first half. 1st and 10, those Cyclones. The ball at the 23-yard line. Down the middle. A pass intended out there for Scott English, but a little bit overthrown.
Peterson was a little bit fearful of putting the ball toward the middle of the field too much because of Terry Ray. Terry Ray, number 19, you'll see him in the white, number 19, closing from the middle of the field. And he was a little bit fearful of him. That's why the ball wasn't thrown as accurately as you might expect. But I think if Chris Peterson had that opportunity to throw that pass again, he delivered it a lot differently.
Well, you got to give Chris Peterson so much credit, Dave, for coming off the adversity of not being able to start after he was being touted as one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 8 Conference. A little play action here. Peterson gets away from one tackler, but not 3 more. Reggie Barnes was the first to put pressure on, and Stacy Dillard sacked him.
Absolutely. Reggie Barnes, you have to give a lot of credit here. This is a naked bootleg once again. All the action goes one way. Peterson comes out all by himself. Watch Barnes contain it. Number 40 blows upfield, turns it inside where all his buddies are, and Oklahoma flies around the football. Pursuit from inside out has been extraordinary all day long.
Well, you talk about a naked bootleg. They stripped Peterson clean on that one.
He wished he had a suit of armor on, not being naked out there.
3rd and 13. Again, Peterson under pressure and sacked for the 2nd straight time. Reggie Barnes again.
Well, I can see why Coach Gibbs and his staff is excited about this young man. He is an explosive football player. As you said earlier, Dave, not the biggest guy in the world, 6'1", 216 pounds. But look at this quickness. They run a little stunt. Defensive tackle goes upfield, and Barnes comes underneath them, right up the gut. And a short tackle, that is an athlete right there.
John Schnorr into punt for Iowa State, standing at his own 1-yard line. Otis Taylor back deep for OU. A low kick, end over end. That's going to take an Iowa State bounce and go on the Oklahoma side of the field. And they'll mark it dead at the 44-yard line. So we'll step aside with 11:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Sooners will have the ball at their own 44 with a 19-6 lead. Sunny and calm. Today, not so. A little partly cloudy sky. A lot better than it was yesterday, though, here. It was a steady, misty rain all day yesterday. A little bit cooler today, but still not a bad day for football. Temperatures in the 40s. The wind is the biggest problem, gusting at about 35 miles per hour. McKinley gets it and is hit after a gain of 2 by Dan Milner, the middle linebacker.
Oh, this is the stunt 4-3 defense on this play was very effective because you had both defensive tackles absorbing the center and both guards, and Milner was unblocked, untouched, and came into the hole and made the tackle all by himself. When 2 defensive linemen can consume 3 offensive blockers, that is the theory behind that stunt 4-3 defense. Those defensive tackles creating havoc by their stunts up front.
Gundy today, after that interception, has thrown 2 touchdown passes and over 100 yards in the air. Wants to go up top again. Pass completed, and a first down, and a late hit perhaps by Iowa State. Ted Long catches it, goes out of bounds. Andrew Buggs was there defensively, and Buggs may have been whistled for a late hit.
Right, he lost perspective on where he was in the field. He must have been more than a yard out of bounds when he made the hit. The ball was being juggled a little bit by Long, so in defense of Buggs, I mean, I can see why he was going to finish the playoff. He just lost track of where he was in the field. Here's the throw. Watch the ball juggled a little bit. He doesn't have possession. He's still working for it, but that's 3 or 4 yards out of field. Andrew Buggs just has to look down and realize he's out of bounds when he makes that hit. Just a mental error.
Buggs shaking his head, saying, all right, all right. Buggs this year with 4 interceptions.
Last year as a team, Iowa State defense only had 3, so he's got more than the whole team did last year.
The record for the year is 9. That came in 1978. Barry Hill picked off 9 for Iowa State, so Buggs has a great shot at that ISU record. Melson in motion. The give is to Gaddis. Good cutback. Gaddis gets down to the 16. Still showing some of those great moves he had before that knee injury.
Watch number 93 in the red, Grubb. He gets washed down and can't react off the play and off the block and make a play. Matt Nitschke can't make the tackle. Every once in a while you just have to give credit to a running back, and Gaddis has that kind of ability, and I think Coach Gibbs is happy with the way he's running the football today.
Well, he should be. And did you see Ron Johnson, the umpire, sneaking? Those guys are right in the middle of all that action.
He's approaching 191 yards for Gaddis on the day.
Gundy to a wide open Corey Warren. Warren already has one touchdown reception today and goes out at the 6-yard line. Andrew Buggs again there defensively.
I was going to say, let him go, guys. He's about 7 yards out of bounds, and don't get another one of those unsportsmanlike conduct deals. Now, here's the case. You're running the football, so they go to the play action off the option look, and too much cushion, wide open. Buggs reacts up late. Now, look, they've got him 5 yards out of bounds, and they're still working him over, so and everybody gets off and says, oh, hands off, leave him alone.
And Warren shaking up on that play. Nitchie had a hold of his legs and couldn't let go. First and goal for the Sooners at the 7-yard line. Gaddis. Oh, is he nailed? Ooh. Dan Milner comes up and makes a huge hit on Gaddis, who gives up limping a little bit.
Gaddis is saying to himself, shame on me for taking this kind of a shot. I'm too skilled a running back to get absolutely blottoed like I did on this play. Milner, once again, is unblocked. That stunt 4-3 defense leaves him unblocked, and he made Gaddis pay for it big time. Man. College football at its finest, a little contact sport.
Gundy wants to throw into the end zone and incomplete. Ted Long had it, and defensively there was Sean Walker who came up with a big hit.
That's contagious. You know, your middle linebacker makes a hit, so your secondary says, hey, I might be a cornerback, but I can stick too. And Sean Walker says, Milner, watch this hit. And boy, he did. He made a stick. The ball's thrown just slightly behind the receiver, but I don't think it would have mattered. I mean, Walker timed that thing perfectly. As soon as the ball arrived, so did Walker, and very little chance for Long to hold on to that football.
Third and goal for the Sooners now at the 6-yard line. Gaddis back in at I-back. Gundy on the option, trying to cut back, and hanging on for dear life is number 93, Matt Grubb.
That's right. I hope he didn't clip his fingernails today. I think that's what made that tackle for him. I mean, if he was by the fingernails grabbing that jersey, but well defensed by the entire Iowa State defense in that play.
So a 4th down for OU.
Here's the stunt 4-3. Look at the penetration right up the middle of the field. Now, credit right there, grabbing, pulling, everything that he can possibly do to make the play. Matt Grubb wasn't going to let go. He had those long fingernails dug in.
Scott Blanton going for the field goal from 24 yards. It's good. He's now 3 of 5 this year, and the Sooners lead 23-6 with 8:36 to go in the third quarter. Welcome back to Iowa State. The Cyclones defense holding Oklahoma out of the end zone. Oklahoma had first and goal at the 6, Dave, and could not score.
Iowa State defense has played pretty well all season long. I think the coaches have been happy. The first 3 games of the season, they only gave up 5 touchdowns in 3 games, and showed a little salt right there.
Blanton kicks it into the end zone. Hill grabs it and says, I'm staying put. Let's start at the 20. Oklahoma goes 50 yards on 8 plays in 2 minutes and 57 seconds, and then Blanton kicks the 23-yard field goal, and it gives OU a 22-6 lead. They had originally put up 23-6, but that would have been a 4-point field goal. I don't think they've added that rule to college football this year, did they?
No.
If you had it arena football, isn't it arena football, Dave, where if you have a drop kick field goal, it's worth 4?
That's 4 points there.
Not a bad rule. In motion goes Caldwell. Peterson on the quarterback draw. This is a play that was so successful against Oklahoma a year ago, and successful again on first down, a gain of 9.
Oh, Peterson's a big quarterback, but with that size comes a package of speed, and this is how you slow a pass rush down. Design play, quarterback draw. He didn't go back and nobody to throw to, tuck it and run. It was a called run, and when you get 2 consecutive sacks against you, the prior series, you go to something like that, a draw, a screen, a trap. Real good call.
Now 2nd and 1, something for Iowa State to work with here, perhaps. A lot of movement on that OU defensive line. Hill in motion. And the give to Caldwell. Iowa State said, let's not mess around. Let's get that first down.
Well, you have to be impressed. I continue to be impressed anyway by the Oklahoma defense. Look at the stunting and twisting going on. They're slanting up front. They're just making it tough on Iowa State's offensive linemen to sustain contact. Oklahoma, they don't just hit you and stay in contact with you. They're always moving, getting rid of you and getting to the football.
You know, it's amazing that Gibbs told us yesterday that he doesn't have a great defense.
Ooh.
It looks pretty great to me.
Looks pretty tough.
Peterson looking for the quick. It didn't have it. Now he's going to run. And he's got some room. Peterson slides down at the 40 and is nailed. No flag on the play. Peterson goes down hard. Remember, Utter was shaken up in the first half.
Peterson took an Excedrin headache hit at the end of this play. This is not a design quarterback draw. This time, nowhere to throw the football. So he tries to find a seam, and he locks up with the linebacker as he's trying to go to the ground. That's a case where Chris Wilson says, hey, free shot at the quarterback, I'm going to take it. And in the National Football League, that would have been a penalty, but not in college football.
Well, right now, the OU offense saying, let's get the ball again. We want to get off this bench and get rolling.
Get the blood circulating again.
Absolutely. Hill has been really getting a workout just going in motion today. They give to Sunday out of Patterson, who gains about 2 or 3 yards, enough for another first down. They'll move the chains again here at Cyclone Stadium.
Well, Chris Peterson's running ability is starting to be a weapon, a thorn in Oklahoma's side once again. He gives you that double threat. He's a two-dimensional quarterback, that's for sure.
Well, a little bit of an advantage now for Iowa State. The band is gone up into the stands, and we see our first snowflakes of 91. Snowing here in Iowa.
Oh, my goodness.
Caldwell, a big hole. Wow. Terry Ray, the only man to touch him, and Caldwell goes all the way down to the Oklahoma 30-yard line.
Well, Iowa State's been very stubborn about staying with their running, and this is the counter play once again. You see the left guard, left tackle pull and make their blocks, and then a broken tackle. I mean, that's when you run through the tackle of Joe Bowden, you've done something, but you have to give credit to the offensive line. They both did a fantastic job. Keller got his block, as did Scarsweet.
It's going to be tough for Caldwell with runs like that to get back to his quarterback position.
That's right. He's got quick feet.
Peterson looking for that quarterback draw again, and this time Stacy Dillard in the Oklahoma defense saying, not this time, pal.
Boy, and it's amazing. They all got to Peterson like he was a magnet. I mean, there were 5 white jerseys around him now. Watch Barnes again. He gets the inside pass rush, and he starts to fight his way through traffic. He's not going to quit. He said, hey, I've worked this hard. I'm going to get to the quarterback. 3-4 bodies flying around Peterson. I mean, he must feel like a chicken leg at a picnic with flies all around him. Jeez.
Straight back for Peterson. Here comes Barnes. Peterson now runs, gets out of the pressure, but Bowden stops him at the original line of scrimmage, the 30-yard line. I don't know if we can pick it up on camera. Sometimes snow is hard to see on camera, but it's snowing pretty good here in Ames right now.
It is. There are some very, very visible flakes. Well, watch for these white specks as we look at Peterson. He's looking for somebody to throw to. Barnes applies the pressure. Peterson has to tuck it. You can see the snow falling. Now, it's only October, folks, but, man, it feels like it's getting close to Christmas around here.
And imagine yourself being a Sooner. It was 90 degrees in Norman just 3 days ago. And now they're having to adjust to snowflakes. Touch pass. Caldwell couldn't bring it in. So now it's 4th and 11. Decision time again for Iowa State. You've got it at the 30. It's probably too far for a field goal here. Do you go for it?
Tough play right here. Caldwell almost makes the circus catch. Peterson really had to throw the ball almost directly at him. It ended up a little bit behind him. I think right now, though, Dave, you got to go for it. I mean, just go for the gusto.
All right, 4th and 11, and Iowa State agrees with you. Jim Walden saying, let's go for it on 4th and 11. And in motion goes English. That one deflected at the line. It's going to be picked off. Terry Ray picks it off and then fumbles the football out of the end zone.
Yep, comes back out to the 20-yard line. He had possession, lost control, fumbled it through the end zone, touchback time. You got to give the interception, basically, at least an assist on the interception, the person that deflected it at the line of scrimmage. 15th interception. This is getting wild.
And right now, Iowa State's saying that should be a safety for us. He had control of the ball. It went through the end zone. That should be 2 points for us.
That's going to be the decision. Did he have possession before he lost control of the ball through the back of the end zone? Now, this would be replay big time if it were professional football. See if he had both feet down and so forth. Did he have control? That's the key.
Fumble out of the end line. We got a safety.
Right, wait, they did rule.
That's what I thought. It was going to be a safety. So it'll be 2 points for Iowa State. You talk about a wild play. On 4th and 11, they go for it.
Let's see. He gets 1, 2. He takes more than 2 steps, and it's ripped out. I mean, he didn't lose control of it. That was ripped out, so that's a good call. It was a hustle by an Iowa State receiver that ripped the ball out of his grasp. So he had a possession change.
Looked like Dillard got his hand on it.
Right. When he came back, Dillard deflected it, but the Iowa State person that hustled back to make the play is tight end Scott English. I mean, he rips the ball out of there, and that's a heads-up move by him to at least get a safety out of it.
Now, the call there is if Terry Ray recovers it in the end zone, then it's a touchback, and Oklahoma gets it on the 20.
Right. Or if he never had possession, it's just
it's an incomplete pass.
Scrimmage.
That's right. That would be, and it would be over on downs to Oklahoma. But the interception, the 15th for Oklahoma, and it turns out to be a bad deal for the Sooners. 2 points for Iowa State on one of the strangest plays I've ever seen.
Scott English, I'll tell you, you have to give him a tremendous amount of credit. The kid did not quit. He went in there and said, okay, you got an interception. Now I'm going to cause a fumble, and that's exactly what he did.
And not only, Dave, does Iowa State get 2 points, they get the ball back.
Right. On a free kick. Now, on a free kick after a safety, you can either choose to kick off or punt, free punt. This time, Oklahoma's going to drive a low kickoff.
Blanton will kick off at the 20 with a little bit of wind is back, and it was just snowing. Now the sun is out for Iowa State. Hill gets it all the way back to the 45-yard line. Iowa State will have the ball at their own 45. Peterson getting the final instructions from Jim Walden with 4:29 to go in the third quarter. Perhaps this sun shining now in Ames an omen for the Cyclones.
That's right. The safety brought the sun out big time.
Iowa State operating into this breeze for the next 4 minutes and 29 seconds. Then they'll have the wind at their back for the fourth quarter. 22-8 our score. That's the strangest football score I've seen in a while. Caldwell, ooh, is he hit by Dillard. Dillard got there and then Bowden finished him off.
Boy, when these guys tackle, folks, somebody's down and hurt also for the Oklahoma defense right at the 45-yard line.
Looks like Proctor Land, the senior out of Fairfax, Virginia, number 97.
Looks like his lower back is bothering him. It's not his legs, moving both his knees around. But watch how these guys separate from these blocks. This is the old counter tray again. Get off the block, and they not only tackle, they stop the forward progress and knock you backward. I mean, your journey is over.
Proctor Land really got his bell rung. They're getting him up with 4:18 to go in the third quarter. Iowa State 2nd and 9. We'll come back to see them on offense in just a moment. The sun is shining now in Ames. The snow did not stick, thankfully.
Yeah.
With Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong. Welcome back to a wild game between the 5th-ranked Sooners and Iowa State, the Big 8 opener for both schools. Peterson looking outside. He's got his receiver Spencer, who goes out of bounds near midfield, right around the 50-yard line.
Peterson threw that football under duress. Stacy Dillard was there right again. I mean, two people collapsed an envelope. Peterson has to rethrew the football. I mean, that's pretty good pass rush right there.
Peterson now 4 of 7 on the day for 42 yards.
Russell Allen and Stacy Dillard. They just met at the quarterback there in the defensive huddle saying if Peterson throws, let's go get there.
Had one interception by Peterson. And that turned out to be a good deal for Iowa State. First down for Iowa State. Caldwell on the reception. Chris Wilson on the stop for OU.
Scott English cleared the zone out. Both defenders, the linebacker and cornerback, went with the tight end Scott English. Running back looped out of the backfield and found a soft spot. And it was executed exceptionally well by Iowa State. Kevin Caldwell, the beneficiary of Scott English, clearing that zone out. Here comes the inside linebacker blitz. Bowden comes up the middle and gives him a little slap to the face on Peterson.
Inside Oklahoma territory at the 39. Quarterback draw. Peterson. Big gain on first down. Inside the 30. They'll mark it at the 29. Almost a first down, just shy. Joe Bowden rang his bell there.
Coach Walden and his staff is furious. They're thinking that the quarterback was abused at the end of that carry a little bit. And they're letting the referees know about it. But you got to respect Peterson. I mean, he's not only physically tough as he's shown, but the mental duress that he's gone through, he's showing that he's mentally tough, and he's grown up a lot in the last couple of weeks.
We asked Walden how has he reacted. He said beautifully.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I couldn't ask for anybody to react any better than he did being forced out of the lineup. 2nd and 1. You see the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. First down for Iowa State to Patterson, and the change will move again. Iowa State now starting to show some composure on offense.
You know, this will help Peterson in his abilities to lead the football team. You better believe that the rest of the guys on the team feel for him, know what he's going through, and they're responding to him right now. And now he's in the football game. He's trying to bring his football team back. A hard lesson about life was learned, but instead of getting his dauber down and ending his career on a sour note, he's fighting back. The guy's shown that he's a battler. I mean, he's a tough individual.
Peterson came back in that Rice game last week to lead Iowa State to victory over the Owls. They scored 11 points in the last 2 minutes of that game.
With no timeouts.
Caldwell bounces off one tackler and then is wise to get down after a gain of only 1. Caldwell looks good for a converted quarterback. He runs well.
He does. He makes good decisions. He's got pretty good feet. I think he may have found a home. I don't think they'll mess with him at the quarterback position anymore.
And I don't think Sherman Williams is feeling all that well yet.
Right.
He was in early in the game. We haven't seen him much since.
Still a little bit gimpy with that ankle injury.
2nd and 9 at the 27. Hill with that reception. Wait a minute, incomplete. Hill had it at the 15 and dropped it.
Well, you can't blame this one on the quarterback. That ball was right on the money, and I think Hill tried to cover up and protect the football because he knew he was going to get crunched going over the middle of the field. Peterson puts this ball, there's a frozen rope right there, and that's a very catchable ball, to say the least, splitting 2 defenders. Peterson's a little bit excited. Oh, darn it. Why didn't you catch that football?
3rd and 9. Peterson to throw again, going up into the end zone. And that one is incomplete.
Yeah, it looks like
Charles Franks holding his right ankle. Charles Franks was there defensively, almost had an interception. A little double coverage. Chris Spencer up in the end zone. And it looked like Charles Franks had the best shot at catching this ball.
Great protection in the middle of the pocket. The outside, both tackles start to lose their men, and the pocket starts to collapse. Peterson realizes that, gets rid of the football. And I don't think if it were caught, it wouldn't have been a completion. It would have been out of bounds. And so I think a lot of weight just came down on Mr. Frank's leg.
They're still working on him outside the end zone. Meanwhile, Iowa State is setting up for what would be a 44-yard field goal attempt.
And it seems like the wind is still whipping pretty well, but it's almost a cross-field wind. Looking at the American flag in the end zone, it's kind of going from one sideline to the other. This wind, that's a tough wind for a kicker to deal with. I mean, you have to allow for it.
If you're wondering if this is in Stewart's range, it is. His long this year, 42. This from 44, if it's good. His long this year from 42. But in high school, our crack research staff has discovered they had a 48-yarder in high school.
That's good leg, plenty of leg.
Well, now they're leaving Stewart over on the sideline, and Iowa State has chosen to go for it. Right now, they've got about 15 guys in the huddle. On 4th and 9, Iowa State's going to go for it again. Caldwell goes in motion. Across the middle and complete, but it's going to be short of the first down. Chris Spencer had it. He might have fallen for the first down.
Boy,
the pile was pushed forward.
All kinds of bodies. You talk about a mass of humanity.
The linesman is standing at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, it seems like he says, hey, I blew the whistle way back here, guys. What's going on down there?
Well, let's see where they spot this one, because his progress was stopped at about the 18.5. Then the pile moved forward, and he fell to the 17. The first down marker is between the 17 and 18. And they're going to spot it at the 18, between the 18 and 19. And by our look, it looks like he's going to be short of that first down. They're going to measure just to make sure. This on 4th down.
Boy, it looked like a rugby scrum, the end of that play, though. Everybody just like balled up and started pushing.
Ball goes over on downs to the Sooners.
Watch the end of this play. It's just this is a little slant pass that's delivered very well. And great effort here. 3 Oklahoma. Watch everybody. This is a scrum. This is rugby. Like, where's the ball? There's about 80 bodies here. There's only supposed to be 22 on the field. They're all right here in the 2-yard area. It's unbelievable. Push, push, push. Came up an inch short. Unreal.
Spencer looking like he was tied up in a wild twister game.
Yeah. You can get disoriented in that kind of a pile in a hurry, I'll tell you.
1st and 10 for OU and their own 18-yard line. Long goes in motion. Gaddis with the ball, spins across the 20 to the 22.
Well, Milner's getting involved in a lot of tackles today, Dave. So the 4-3 stunt defense, and there's an Iowa State defensive lineman that looks like hurt down on the field. Is that Radigan? Somebody's down on the field in obvious pain. Scott
Might
Schultz.
be Scott Schultz, number 48. A redshirt freshman out of Illinois.
But that stunting, looping 4-3 stunt defense is keeping blockers off of that middle linebacker, and Milner is making a lot of hits in there.
There is Cy. You might wonder why he looks like a Cardinal. Originally, Iowa State was known as the Cardinals. The Iowa State Cardinals, but back in 1895, they were playing Minnesota, a team that they were really underdogs to, and they played very well. And one of the writers said, boy, these guys played like Cyclones. And ever since then, they became known as the Iowa State Cyclones. Oh, excuse me, I got my mascots mixed up. The first one we saw was Clone. This one is Cy. Sorry, it's hard to tell a mascot without a number.
And that's right, it is. You need a program for Cy and Clone.
All right, there's Clone. Cy is the other one. Sorry, I'll make sure we know that from now on. You know, you hate to mess up on the mascot deal.
Clone's very friendly, very friendly. He likes all the cheerleaders. By the way,
Clone, obviously the smarter of the two.
Yes.
2nd and 6 for OU, back on their own 22-yard line. Gaddis again. Well, he had his hand held by Matt Nitchie. And Nitchie throws him for a loss.
Nice job defensively by the entire Iowa State team. This is a pennant. Look at the stunt, 4-3. The tackle's looping. Everybody's stunting, and this is just great. Coming off a block and holding on for dear life. I mean, that's tremendous hand strength. You got a running back like Gaddis. You have to have strong hands and wrists and forearms to hold on like that and impede his forward progress enough till your troops get there.
3rd and 9. Iowa State wants the ball back. Oklahoma wants to keep this drive alive, and a fumble. Iowa State says they have it.
Oh, boy, there's a tug-of-war going on there now. All kinds of ripping at that football. Now the strong hands and strong wrists and strong forearms win this battle. Talk about a rugby scrum. Another one going on.
Now it goes to Oklahoma, but it'll be 4th down. The Sooners will be forced to punt. And what will be interesting to see if they can get this punt off with the wind. Now Oklahoma, perhaps wisely, has called a timeout. I think if they don't call a timeout there, the clock winds down. They can't get the punt off with the wind at their back.
Right.
So Oklahoma has chosen to call a timeout. This could help them with their field position. Not a bad play here by OU. A heads-up play by the punter, Brad Riddell.
And this coaching staff, you know, very into the game, very aware of it, sent them in, saying, you know, let's make sure that you do have your best opportunity to get a punt off and call that timeout. Heads-up play. But, boy, that safety, what a momentum changer that has been. I mean, that Iowa State's defense responded to it. The offense almost came within an inch of converting that first down to punch it in. Now they're going to conceivably get decent field position here to start another drive.
You know, the way this series has gone over the last 3 years, Gary Gibbs may want to discontinue this series with the Cyclones if he could. I mean, you know, he's saying, why are these guys in the Big Eight? They're just my nightmare. 2 years ago here, it was 43-40. Oklahoma held on to win. And last year, the big upset, Iowa State beating Oklahoma in Norman. And a bounce goes OU's way, and that ends the 3rd quarter. The ball will be down at the 27-yard line, and that's where Chris Peterson and the offense of the Cyclones will take over to start the 4th quarter. Iowa State trailing by 13. Last year in Norman, the Cyclones scored 13 in the 4th quarter. We'll come back and find out if they can do it again. Stadium in Ames, Iowa. We've seen it all weather-wise here today. We've seen a light drizzle, we've seen clouds, we've seen snow, and now we're seeing bright sunshine. Bright sunshine here at Cyclone Stadium. Before long, they may be breaking out the bathing suits here in Ames. If we stay around another 15 minutes, who knows? Well, we start the 4th quarter with Dave Lapham. I'm Dave Armstrong. Iowa State trailing by 13 to start the 4th stanza. And Chris Peterson brings them up to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from the 27. Hill in motion. Peterson wants to throw on 1st down and finds Schulte across the middle. Schulte goes down at the 40-yard line. Hit hard by Drew Chrisman.
Great concentration to hold on to that football after he made the catch by Schulte, because Chrisman absolutely exploded on him.
And now Iowa State in a hurry-up offense. A no-huddle offense. Last week against Rice, they used this kind of offense, and Peterson taking all the time that he needs and keeping that OU defense out there on the field and guessing as to what he's going to do. This is the senior leadership that Jim Walden really likes.
And Oklahoma's in their nickel defense, Dave. Extra defensive backs in the game.
That was a lateral pass to Caldwell. And he maybe gets a yard or two, and that's about it. Kyle Hill was there defensively for OU.
Now, obviously, Iowa State is not fearful of the matchup of Oklahoma's nickel extra defensive backs in against their wideouts. They're spreading the field, running a one-back set. They may try to run the football a little bit against this nickel because there's one less animal in there at inside linebacker, a smaller person inside defending that run.
And again, the hurry-up offense for Iowa State. Peterson calling out the signals on 2nd and 8 from the 42. Caldwell in motion to the far side. Peterson on the quarterback draw. He might have a 1st down at midfield. What a scramble by Peterson. He may be just shy of the 1st down marker.
Now, Peterson is forcing Oklahoma to make some adjustments. Normally, you don't account for the quarterback in nickel defense like this as a running threat. But this guy, you have to. And he's breaking tackles. I mean, he's possessed right now. He wants to bring this football team back. Randall Cunningham in the National Football League does this kind of thing. And what you have to do is put a spy on it. You have to take one of your defense plays, either a defensive back or a linebacker, and mirror every move that Peterson makes.
3rd and 1. Peterson on the quarterback sneak that time will have a 1st down, and the markers will move. Iowa State in Oklahoma territory. Oklahoma with just 3 points in the 2nd half.
It's a great thought process right here by the Iowa State offensive coaches to spread the field and give Peterson a lot of options. He is a real big threat to the Oklahoma defense right now.
The second half, a pitcher's duel, 5-3 in favor of Iowa State. And you see the first downs almost equal. In motion goes Schulte. Peterson squirms out of trouble and then picks up 5. Wow, what a play by Peterson.
That is just great effort. That's determination. He's not going to go down. You're not going to arm tackle Peterson right now. He is pumped up. The adrenaline's flowing. Look at this. Nice pass rush. Nice stunt. 2 or 3 guys meet at the quarterback. Barnes can't take him down with a shoestring tackle. I mean, Peterson is ready to play some football. You're going to have to lay the leather to him to get him to the turf.
And again, Peterson operating from a no-huddle offense. 9 seconds on the play clock. And they get it off with 2 seconds on the play clock. Caldwell on the draw. Caldwell goes down and he fumbled the football, and Oklahoma saying they have it.
Yeah.
They do. The Sooners fall on it at the 38-yard line. And yet another turnover in favor of OU.
Little counter action once again. Caldwell trying to take advantage, and just, whoa, Bob made the hit that just knocked the football out of there. And who fell on top of it? Okay. Looks like Drew Chrisman fell on it, but it was a tremendous hit by Bowden. He just stripped that football right out of there.
And surprisingly, that is the 11th fumble that the Sooners have caused, and only the second one that they have recovered.
Yeah, that's right. But boy, their turnover ratio continues to go in the positive direction. They came in at +7. They've got, what, 2 interceptions on the day today, and then the 1 fumble recovery?
That's right. They had the 2 interceptions, the one that went for the safety, and then they had that fumble recovery. And that's the first fumble for Iowa State in 3 games.
That's right. That's right. They had gone 2 games without the... And that was one of the Coach Gibbs' keys was, you know, make sure we win the turnover battle. And at this point, that was a big one to thwart. I mean, Iowa State had all kinds of momentum generated. And that thwarts some energy right now.
Now Gaddis looking to try to run the ball again. Gundy saying, all right, guys, it's our turn. Let's get this offense going again. We've only got 3 points in this second half. Let's get something together. 12:27 to go in the ball game. The Sooners leading 22-8.
Another guy that's playing as advertised is Bowden. What a player this inside linebacker is, Bowden from Oklahoma. He is a stud.
You saw Iowa State's rushing yards up to 72. Remember, they only had 15 at the half. Mark down on the stop. Gaddis not much doing there offensively for OU. Gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
Well, Iowa State is getting, it was a little bit closer to their goal for rushing the football in the 3rd quarter. You know, and for the game, they wanted to rush for 150 yards or more if they could. That's a pretty ambitious mouthful going against this Oklahoma defense.
Rashid, not much there. It'll be 3rd and long for OU. Matt Grubb was there defensively.
Take a look at this stunt 4-3 defense again. Everybody's penetrating. And they penetrate right to the middle. 3 or 4 defenders from Iowa State funnel themselves right to the football by the stunt. This is a defense where it's not a reading defense. They don't sit there and catch offensive linemen and then read off of their blocks. They force the issue. They charge and penetrate.
Robin Ross in his 6th year as defensive coordinator. Gundy back to throw. A pump fake. Wide open is Ted Long. Long has it inside Iowa State territory at the 33-yard line. Boy, Gundy can just hit that spot and hit it accurately. 9 of 17 through the air now for Cale Gundy.
And they split Lazard and Fulton on this play. Just wasn't quite enough inside help from Fulton, but the pump fake once again. Snuck along the sideline and split the seam between the corner and safety, and well executed. Big first down for Oklahoma.
10 OU at the 34, 10:46 to go in the ball game. Rashid again dragging half the Iowa State team with him inside the 30 down to the 27-yard line.
Rashid that time, he backdoor, what you call a backdoor the trap wrestler. Number 71 in the white pulled and tried to trap the defensive end, and he just, right as soon as he pulled the right guard position that he vacated, that was the spot the running back chose to hit.
Dave, there's been some concern in the Norman camp about the two fullbacks, McKinley and Rashid, and going into this year, they felt like that was a major strength for them.
Yeah, everybody, the consensus was that they had two of the best fullbacks in the Big 8 on the same team, alternating series.
You're saying that they're not hitting their blocks the way they did a year ago. That's the main concern, not the running, but the blocking. No blocks there as Gaddis is hit by Goodwin and Schultz.
Let's take a look at Malcolm Goodwin, the inside, the middle linebacker. The stunt 4-3 defense is designed to keep blockers off of him. That's exactly what happens. Nobody touches him. None of the Oklahoma offensive linemen can get to him. He comes in untouched to make the play. All that twisting, turning, stunning by the defensive tackles is consuming all the offensive linemen up front, letting him pursue to the ball.
Third down, 5 yards to go now. The ball sitting at the 28-yard line. Play clock down to 2, and Gundy, seeing that, says, oh, let's call timeout here. That's the second timeout that OU has called this half. They have just one remaining. And with 9:16 to go, the Sooners driving on 3rd and 5. We're going to step aside with OU leading 22-8. Back to Iowa State. Oklahoma on 3rd and 5 from their own 28-yard line. Gundy looking to throw, and here comes the pressure. Gundy is sacked back at the 32-yard line. Mark Dunn and Matt Nitchie sandwiched him there.
Try to throw off a play action once again. No place to go with the football. You have to label this a covered sack. He's on rhythm there, nowhere to go, has to tuck it. Once you tuck it down, boy, the penetration and the pass rush is there, and they just engulf him.
So now it's 4th and 7, and Oklahoma, out of field goal range here, has decided to go for it at the 31-yard line. 4th and 7. You get the feeling Iowa State has to stop them here to have any chance in this game. Gundy goes in. Warren, touchdown. Wow, what a catch by Warren. His second touchdown of the day, and both of them beauties of catches.
Well, the Iowa State Cyclones rolled the dice. They blitzed their safety, Kevin Fulton, number 36 in the red. You'll see him pressure the quarterback from the outside. That locked receiver up man-to-man. Warren, man. Watch number 36 come on the blitz from the out right there, top of the screen. That's man-to-man isolation at that point. Corey Warren just beating his defender, Kevin Lazard. That's just a deal where the defense put the pressure on, and the quarterback and the receiver responded. Gundy makes a great throw. He said, I've got Warren man-to-man. Oh, thank you. 6.
Gundy with 4 touchdown passes today, 2 of them to Warren.
Well, they went with the blitz. I mean, Iowa State has not blitzed that much. A crucial down, decided to blitz, and it didn't work out.
Oklahoma has opened up a 29-8 lead now in Iowa State on 4th down. Gundy, a touchdown pass. Gundy, I'm thinking he's having a bigger day than he is. He's already having a great day. This is 3rd touchdown throw of the game. This one to Corey Warren again, and watch the outstretched arms of number 2.
I'll tell you, that's a great catch. He caught the back half of the football. He's a sophomore, as is quarterback Gundy. They're going to be causing problems in the Big 8 for quite a while.
Well, into the wind, they decide to kick it on the ground. Hill has it, picks it up at the 25, trying to break outside. He goes out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Good field position for Iowa State. The scoring drive, a little over 4 minutes, a 31-yard touchdown reception to Warren. 7 plays, 62 yards, and what a gutsy play by both schools as Iowa State came with the blitz, and Gundy picked up the read beautifully and went down the middle.
He sure did. He picked up the blitz read, saw his receiver in man-to-man coverage, and said, "Oh, I think we can challenge that." And they did.
You know, Gundy perhaps having the help of his brother, being such a big quarterback at Oklahoma State. He's been schooled so well, and also schooled so well in the subject of English, I guess, is Chris Peterson, because Scott English goes across the middle and a big gainer for Iowa State.
That little pop pass to the tight end has been so successful between the linebacker and the defensive back in that nickel defense.
8:11 now to go in the ball game. Peterson looking up top. Pass was intended for Leonard Holmes. He wasn't expected to play today. Holmes was listed as very doubtful for today's game because of an ankle injury, but he's in there now. And there you take a look at Darrell Walker. Walker, a guy that Big 8 Defensive Player of the Week from St. Louis. A guy only 5'6" or 5'8" and 166 pounds. Many people thought he was too small to play at the major college level. And he says, I'm out there playing so that everyone who is my size can say, hey, you can play at this level.
That's right.
Peterson to throw again, and he threw it right into the not even outstretched arms of the defensive player for Oklahoma, number 94. That's Milton Overton. Overton just had to hit him right in the head.
Used his head well on that play. I had a coach that let's take a look at this. One defensive linemen are taught when you're rushing the quarterback, if you're not going to get there, get your hands up and see if you can deflect the ball, and that's exactly what Overton did. I had a coach in reference to Walker. He had a saying to all the smaller guys in our team, guys, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And that was his motto for the smaller people.
And Darnell Walker is really a fierce dog. And now Peterson saying, let's call timeout here. That play clock was winding down, and he didn't have his play going on 3rd and 10 from the 39. With 8:02 to go in the ball game, the Sooners now pretty much in command, leading 29-8 over Iowa State. From the 39-yard line. Barnes again putting the pressure on. Pass is complete to Patterson. It's going to be close to a first down. You got to feel like Iowa State's going to go for it no matter what.
That's right. They don't have much of choice at this time. Barnes once again comes flying up the middle on a stunt, untouched.
I'll tell you, if I'm Chris Peterson, I'm just absolutely sick of seeing number 40 in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, that's right. He'll close his eyes tonight to take a rest, and he'll have 4-0 staring him right in the face.
4th and 1 at the 30. They need to get to the 29. Peterson, the whole line, really. What a surge by Iowa State's offensive line.
That's the one thing that if Iowa State could get in those situations, half a yard to gain, when you average 305 pounds, quickness and athleticism will negate size a lot of times. Oklahoma, though, they don't have any choice. They know they're going to quarterback sneak. They have to bunch up in there, and they're giving away about 45, 50 pounds a guy, and they just get rolled out of there. But when 1st and 10, they play with athleticism.
No one lined up behind Peterson. Oh, what about that for a sack?
Wow.
While laying down, a sack made by Oklahoma.
Ricky Wren, I think it was, that just reached out and touched someone. I mean, he just reached out and grabbed the big toe of Peterson.
Ricky Wren, a sophomore out of New Mexico. He just laying there and decides to stick his hand out and grab the shoelace of Peterson. A loss of 10, 2nd and 20. Gets it back past the original line of scrimmage, and a gain of 13 to the 25. It'll bring up 3rd and 7.
Drew Chrisman involved in that hit. He's the nickel linebacker. He's the extra defensive back. Watch Peterson. I mean, it looks like he's going to run the quarterback draw. Now, well, I'm going to run the football now. No place to throw. The number 24 in the white is the extra defensive back that's in instead of 2 linebackers.
Peterson wants to run it again. Gets it down to near the 20-yard line, but the first down marker is resting at the 17.
Timeout.
Timeout taken by Iowa State. With 5:58 to go in the ball game, and the Sooners leading 29-8.
Well, you've got, what, about four yards to go. My theory is whenever you have a quarterback of the talent level of Chris Peterson, you give it a two-way option. You put pressure on the defense. You move Peterson a little bit and let him either throw or run for a first down and pressure that perimeter.
Don't forget, Dave, I know you won't forget because you'll be joining me, right?
That's
Next week, Big 8 game of the week. The leading receiver in the Big 8 conference is this guy, Michael Smith. He's averaging 85 receiving yards per game and a league-leading 343 yards over the first 4. Next week, the Wildcats host the Kansas Jayhawks here on Prime Network. So check your local listings for the times in your area for the Big 8 game of the week.
Michael Smith, what a story he is. A former walk-on that is just setting all kinds of records at Kansas State.
He really is a great player. We're going to really see some offense next week with Smith and Tony Sands from Kansas. Looking forward to that one very much. It's for that Governor's Cup, the Sunflower Battle.
We've had a good one here today, Dave. I mean, both teams have given tremendous effort. It's been little things that have curbed momentum, and there have been momentum swings one way or the other. Turnovers have been a little bit of a problem, and Oklahoma has made the big play when necessary. They've hit the big one.
When you think of Oklahoma, they haven't lost a conference opener since way back in 1972.
Jeez.
Well, they're tough to beat in that first game of that conference schedule. 1980, Iowa State tied them. 4th and 3 for Iowa State. Hill in motion. It's going to be a first down. Patterson inside the 15 down to the 13. Big play by Peterson.
And Drew Chrisman, the nickel defensive back, that's a matchup that the Oklahoma coaching staff probably wanted. They've got a defensive back on a running back out in the open field, a quick guy to make the tackle, but couldn't come up with the play.
Patterson, you see him near the sideline, and they were looking for Patterson again, but the ball batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Barnes got his hands up and drilled it to the ground like a volleyball spike. He is a player.
Yeah, I should say. And in case you're thinking, if you're a fan of some other Big 8 team other than Oklahoma, I'm thinking, well, I hope this is last year. Sorry, he's a junior. He'll be back again.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see where the pro scouts are evaluating where they can. He's obviously not going to play outside linebacker in the National Football League or defensive end in the National Football League. I wonder if he could convert to strong safety. He can run. Whoa, here he comes again.
Boy, this is becoming a Reggie Barnes highlight tape.
Boy, he is, they're going to have to pay a little bit more attention to him. Nobody can handle him by themselves. Going to have to double team him. And Peterson, the key there was the inside of the pocket was collapsing. There's no place for him to step up. So as he retreated to lose more ground, Barnes said, boy, that's right up my alley. I'll take you down.
See, Oklahoma has really put the pressure on. And that one batted away by Terry Ray. Good play there defensively by Oklahoma's secondary. A secondary that was riddled just 2 years ago, but they have really solidified things back there.
And here's a little twist up front. Pass rush picked up pretty well. Ray breaks on the ball. Just playing center field. He's the safety, just roaming the middle of the field, reading the quarterback's eyes and breaking on the ball once it's airborne.
All right, 4th down, 20 yards to go. The ball at the 24-yard line. 5:17 to go in the ball game, and the Sooners with a 21-point lead. Patterson goes in motion. They find Patterson across the middle, but that's going to be nowhere close to where they needed to get. And they'll pin the Sooners back at the 15-yard line. That's the best they could do, though. And Oklahoma will try to run out the clock now and give Coach Gibbs and the Sooners a 4-0 start in 1991. 5:09 to go in the ball game. The Sooners leading by 21. We'll come back to Ames in just a moment. With Dave Lapham, I'm Dave Armstrong. Welcome back to Cyclone Stadium. Oklahoma now comfortably ahead with time running out. Oklahoma is going to probably try to run the ball and close things out here. A lot of the fans starting to file out of Cyclone Stadium now, realizing their Cyclones gave it a good go against the 5th-ranked Sooners.
Well, the clock is as much of an ally to Oklahoma as anything now. Less than 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 40 seconds to go in the game with a 21-point lead. They just don't want to do anything silly here and give the football back.
2nd and 9. And the whistles blow before that one could get going.
Oklahoma started too soon.
That stops the clock with 4:28 to go. For Iowa State, they'll have a week off. For Oklahoma, they go out of conference next week for their big game with Texas down in the Cotton Bowl. One of the best rivalries in football.
Sure is. I'd be interested to see how this Oklahoma defense would do against teams like Miami, Florida State, that can throw that football and have real good offensive linemen pass protecting with the secondary. I mean, what are there's 15 interceptions they have now. They've got some athletes in the secondary, and Barnes can put some pressure on. That would be an interesting matchup. We may see it as the bowl games unfold.
And speaking of their defense, Dave, this is the first game, unless something happens in the next 4 minutes, that Oklahoma will not run an interception back for a touchdown.
Right.
The first time in 4 games.
That's amazing.
Gaddis, he wanted to stay in bounds, but got out of bounds to stop the clock with 3:59 to go. Ball at the 15-yard line. And that's going to bring up a 3rd down for OU.
Yeah, I had Bowden, the inside linebacker, one of the leading scorers in the team, with two interceptions returned for touchdowns.
Yeah.
I mean, when your defense is scoring points for you like that, that's a great situation to be in.
Yeah, earlier this week, Gundy, by mistake, went into the linebacker coach's office, and linebacker coach said, "Hey, what are you doing in here? This is where the points are scored." Bowden has 2 touchdowns. Gundy on a rope. Hits Albert Hall. That thing was thrown hard into the wind.
He's got a great delivery, and this is only a sophomore. Great protection. Look at the separation. Can see downfield all day long. Threads the needle between 2 defenders. That had some RPMs on it. It had more revolutions. You couldn't read that football, I'll tell you. That thing was humming.
11 of 19 for Cale Gundy. Iowa State has not scored a touchdown against this Oklahoma Sooner defense. Iowa State has had trouble scoring touchdowns this year. If they don't score a TD today, it'll be the 2nd time in the last 3 games that they haven't scored a touchdown. Gaddis showing some good moves, close to another 1st down at the 41-yard line.
Well, that time the Oklahoma front solved the stunt 4-3. They just kind of knocked people to the ground, and Gaddis just high-stepped over some folks. Look at it, pancake right there, high step over. All the Cyclones are down on the ground, grasping at air, and Gaddis is downfield about 5 yards. That's pretty good execution by the offensive line, pancaking some folks.
And they're going to stop the clock to measure at the 41. 3:25 to go in this one. Oklahoma will improve to 4-0, and Iowa State will drop to 2-3 on the year. Iowa State thinking that they'd like to get to that 7-win mark this year and perhaps go to a bowl game, and they're already starting to discuss that tough loss to Wisconsin where they lost to 7-6. That could cost them later on in the year.
Right, because, you know, they're at the point in the Big 8 where somebody stepped to the forefront. You know, they feel there are games in the Big 8 where they match up very well, and if they could win 4 of those, it would have been in real good shape if in fact, that Wisconsin game had gone their way.
But on the other side of that coin, the Rice game could have gone the other way, too. They came back with 11 points in the last 2 minutes to win that one.
Amazing. Last 2 minutes, 11 points, no timeouts. Recovering that onside kick was obviously huge, but that was a big emotional lift for this team as they prepared for Oklahoma. But you have to give Oklahoma their just due. They're a very talented football team.
It's not a 1st down, as you saw. It's a 2nd and 1 for OU, and the clock moving again, nearing the 3-minute mark. McKinley won't get it. In fact, he lost a yard on the play. Matt Ray Rayberg, and Matt Grubb got him there.
This time the Iowa State defensive line in their stunt 4-3 won the battle at the line of scrimmage. Previously we saw Oklahoma pancake, knock some defensive linemen to the ground. This time 2 defensive tackles got in the gaps on either side of the center. Both penetrated, and they just kind of met in the backfield, and the running back had nowhere to go.
Tough for us to pick a player of the game in this contest. We've got 3 candidates. We'll tell you our candidates. Our candidates are Cale Gundy with 3 touchdown passes, Corey Warren with 2 touchdown passes, and Reggie Barnes defensively.
Right.
We'll tell you who we chose out of those candidates a little bit later on. Mark Dubravo makes the stop on Gaddis, who will go over 100 yards with that rush.
That's going to be a shot in the arm, confidence-wise, to both he and the Oklahoma football team. They could get Gaddis back to being the threat, or near the threat that he was before the severe knee injury. Well, that would be a nice component to this football team.
Unofficially, we have heard that Joel Brewer has a strained knee, and I hope that's all it is. And that's unofficial. That's not the official word from the trainer's table. That's really coming from a source inside the press room.
Right.
Oklahoma moves the chains, 1st and 10 on their own 48. McKinley, a pickup of just a couple. Dan Milner stops him, and the clock will wind down near 1 minute. Each team with just 1 timeout remaining.
Oklahoma would like to assume the victory formation here if possible, run the clock down to just about nothing and generate another first down, then just take a knee. That was the greatest feeling in the world, Dave, as a player, when you have the football and you have the lead, and you just take the snap and everybody takes a knee, and what a sense of accomplishment it is after working hard all afternoon.
Now, as I mentioned, Iowa State will have next week off, Dave, to think about things, and then they take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Gaddis weaving his way for a few. Oklahoma, the next 2 weeks for them going to be difficult. The Sooners will find out how good they are. They take on Texas next week, and then Colorado the week after that.
That will be a test.
3rd down, 3 yards to go. Clock winding down. Iowa State choosing not to use their timeout. 3rd and 3. Gaddis looking for a first down, won't get it. 4th down for OU. Dan Milner with another play defensively there for Iowa State. And now if you're Oklahoma, do you try to punt it, or you just go ahead and try to run out the clock? Iowa State's still not calling a timeout. And so if they don't call a timeout, they don't have to run another play.
Right.
That's going to be it. Iowa State has decided not to call another timeout, and the game will end right here.
And that's the ball game. Oklahoma 29, Iowa State 8.
Jim Walden goes off 2-3 now on the year. For Gary Gibbs and the Oklahoma Sooners, their first road game of the year and a successful trip to Ames, Iowa. The Oklahoma Sooners defeat Iowa State 29-8. But I'll tell you, Iowa State gave Oklahoma all they could handle there for a while.
They did. And the thing that, you know, as a traditionalist, you think of Oklahoma, you think of the wishbone, you think of the option. Hey, they're a balanced offensive attack now. They can beat you by air, and they can beat you on the ground. They've got a fine quarterback in Mr. Gundy.
So Walden now will prepare for the Kansas Jayhawks in 2 weeks, and the Sooners get ready to head down to the Cotton Bowl to take on the Texas Longhorns. A week away from the Big 8 for Gary Gibbs and the Oklahoma Sooners. And then they have, after that tough Texas game, they've got to get ready for Colorado right away in a game that very well could decide first, second, third place in the Big 8 Conference.
And as Walden walks off the football field, Coach Gibbs right behind him, I think of the ex-linebacker at Oklahoma, Gary Gibbs. Boy, he's got to be pleased as punch and proud of that defensive football team. You know, it's a question of how good are they? I don't know. You get guys like the Selman brothers, it's hard to evaluate, but this is a good defense.
So the strong defense of Oklahoma and 3 touchdown passes from Cale Gundy. It all translates to a 29-8 win for the Oklahoma Sooners. Iowa State losing to Oklahoma in Ames, 29-8 the final score. And what a defensive stand for OU here today. Oklahoma holding Iowa State to just 2 field goals today. Iowa State scoring on that safety, and what turned out to be a good defensive play for Oklahoma. The interception by Terry Ray, but he fumbled it out of his own end zone, and that's a safety that created 2 points for Iowa State. But certainly Reggie Barnes was everywhere for the Oklahoma Sooners today.
Reggie Barnes, 6'1", 217 pounds, but he's a man at defensive end. Look at those numbers. 7 unassisted tackles. He knocked down a couple of passes. He sacked the quarterback a couple of times. That's a great day's work. This guy is explosive. His first and second step are incredible. You see him off to the right of the screen. Right here he comes around the horn, beat his offensive tackle, and took the quarterback to the turf. Now he's working against a guy that is 6'2", 330-plus pounds. And he's 6'1", 217, but he's got immense quickness, and he was a factor today.
He certainly was a factor, and so was our Associate Director, Tim Barry, our Director, Mike Diamond, our producer, Clay Paulo, our stats person, Stacy Machad, Denise Seelman, and Amy McClintock, our spotters today. We thank them so much for helping us today. The Oklahoma Sooners ranked 5th in the country. Beat Iowa State in the Big 8 opener for both clubs, 29-8. We'll come back for the final wrap in just a moment. And here in Ames, Iowa, the Oklahoma Sooners defeat Iowa State 29-8. Dave, we have seen Oklahoma, we've seen Colorado, and we've seen Nebraska up close and personal. Those are the 3 teams that are expected to vie for the Big 8 crown this year. I'm not going to hold you to this, but give me your early prediction on how you think the race is going to turn out.
Oh, I think it's going to be an interesting race, but in my estimation, years of football experience dictate that defense wins you championships, and I think I'd have to give a nod to this Oklahoma defense from what I saw today. I mean, they've got talent everywhere. They've got a very sound secondary. You know, they've got to be leading the country now in interceptions. They've got a big play guy, Barnes, in the defensive line. They've got Bowden in the linebacker. They've got a star player at every level of their defense, and they're offensively, they're well-rounded now. They're a balanced offensive attack. They're not one-dimensional anymore. I think Colorado is going to have trouble handling this Oklahoma defense with that young offensive line. I think the Nebraska-Oklahoma game is going to be the key game. You
know, one of the things you think about with Oklahoma always is depth. And you have a Dewell Brewer that goes down, and you bring back a Mike Gaddis to take his place, and he rushes for over 100 yards today.
That's true. You know, and then they have a guy named Ernest Williams, who's a heck of a running back that didn't make the dance this week, didn't travel, but he's available to him.
Let's take a look statistically at how things stacked up for a final look here at this 29-8 win for OU. And you take a look at passing yards, pretty equal. Rushing for ISU, not bad after starting with only 15 yards after the first half of play. And you look at the turnover situation, though, for Iowa State. Those 3 turnovers really proved costly. So did the penalty situation.
They did. Once again, though, the thing I like, I think the Oklahoma coaches have 366 yards isn't what they're accustomed to generating. I mean, they're well up in the 400 yards per game category. But the fact is that it's balanced. You know, 206 passing and 160 rushing. They fell far below their average per game, 280 yards, over 280 yards a game rushing. ISU did a nice job containing that ground game, but then once again, Gundy burned them in the air.
Gary Gibbs wanted consistency in his offense. Did he get it today?
I think he did for the most part. Gundy forced the issue a little bit in the first quarter, the first possession with that interception down the middle of the field, but he more than made up for that when he teamed up with a guy that's going to be a factor. Corey Warren is a great wide receiver. They're both sophomores. They're going to scare a lot of defensive coordinator for a few years here in the Big 8.
Yeah, and Jawan Penny is a redshirt freshman, considered by many the best wide receiver in the country, and he'll be available to them next year. Well, next week we'll be in Manhattan, Kansas. That's when the Kansas Jayhawks will take on the Kansas State Wildcats. Always a fun game, the KU-K-State cross-state rivalry.
It is. There's obviously a lot of incentive in this football game. We're going to see 2 teams that have gotten off to good starts and teams that are trying to bring their programs around to be more competitive in the Big 8. They've turned the corner to respectability. Now they're trying to build on that.
Well, you mentioned good starts. They start off 3-0, both teams, and that's the first time since 1910 that both teams started the year at 3-0.
Boy, that's great for the state of Kansas. I mean, I'm sure the whole state will be abuzz as we work our way in for next week's game.
All right, for Mike Diamond, for Clay Paulo, for Dave Lapham, this is Dave Armstrong saying so long from Ames, Iowa. Once again, Oklahoma defeating Iowa State here at Cyclone Stadium, 29-8 the final. Cale Gundy with 3 touchdown passes, 2 of them to this man, Corey Warren, and the Sooners, ranked 5th in the country, roll on 29-8.